G'day, welcome to the Inforunners. I'm Execute, joined today from his evil lair in the the Indonesias. You literally dressed up in gold. You know that, right?
It is actually
Oh, your camera's frozen.
yellow and yep, my camera's frozen. Can't tell you why.
I
Um,
don't know what you did. All that set up and it's gone to shit
yeah,
again.
all that set up and we've just gone to crap in 5 seconds.
Yep.
What more could you ask for?
I don't know what you've done, but have a play, assuming you fix it. Right, I'll get things set up on my end. But yeah, this is all everything that could go wrong that will go wrong as you know, best laid plans. I'm worried. This is what I'm worried about when we actually get CitizenCon, all this type of stuff going wrong.
Which is one of the reasons why doing the streams live at the moment while we're out is one of the problems.
Just reset. Just reset. Ninja Algared. That's what I would do. Close it down and open it
Ninja
again.
is.
Oh wait, I can.
Ninja that's frozen.
Yeah. Cool. And when it comes back up, I'll have to probably refresh at my end as well.
Yep.
Right. Need to go pop this out so I can get chat over here so we can see what you guys are saying. YouTube chat. Got to do the docs. I've got to do custom browser docs. This one.
Check.
Apply. Yeah. I haven't lost your sound. So you're still there. There you are. You're back. Cool. Yeah, he does look like an evil villain today. He's in his gold shirt, in his white cell somewhere in Indonesia.
So
he's got a bit of tracking on the camera, working as well, which kind of looks cool.
That's right. It's really cool.
Yeah.
So in my evil lair in Jakarta. So since I'm in Jakarta, selamat pagi dari Inforunners di Indonesia. Saya harap semua orang menikmati streaming ini. Semoga hari ini adalah hari yang indah, which is good morning from the Inforunners in Indonesia. I hope everyone enjoys this streaming, and also that everyone has a wonderful day.
You've speaking of shirts, I don't know if you saw my message before. I got up at 4 a.m. well, actually 3 a.m. and I had to call the United States, but they are off to print. So yeah, thank you to everyone that helped us with those last week. We got those really well organized in a really short amount of time. I think it took about 3 days, but then we had some other communications issue with the printing people, but then we got it all sorted. So what I should probably do really quick, if I go to what
is show the back of a shirt.
Yeah, what Darth sent me. I'm just trying to find it now. Streamer mode, all that stuff. So that's up there. So if I press this one, yeah. So that's what it turned out being. So above Algared's head there, you can see how we kind of everyone's names, and with thanks from Algared, Astropub, and Execute, because Paul also helped us out a little bit on that one. So yeah, hope you guys like that. Oh, thank you for the super chat, All It. I appreciate it. $1.99. But I hope you guys are happy with the back of that. I think the only concession we had to make, and we couldn't find we tried to contact him, but we couldn't get a hold of him, was what's that guy's name? Or did we leave it real big in the end because we changed it? I think we left it real big in the end. Yeah, David. I think that's the reason why we went to this one, because it didn't affect the name.
But the name was took up 2 rows, and we had to. Yeah, we're tossing up where to edit it down.
It is shortened there. It's D. Whitman Kinghorn. It is shortened because his name, literally with his first name, was so long that it was twice as long as everyone else's, and we're just like, this is kind of not fair. Like he was almost a half a line on his own. So
yeah, he almost needed to be a line on his own just to fit. It just doesn't.
Yeah.
Bode well. So anyway, we made that call.
Yeah.
We decided we'd shorten the first name to the initial, but keep the last name in its hyphenated entirety. So
yeah. So we're gonna. So because of time, the American people that we got this printed with cannot get it printed and sent to CitizenCon on time. So we're actually getting it printed in the UK, so it'll get there on time. So the one we fundraise with will print from the States and ship from there, and then basically we're going to get it printed. John Citizen's on that at the moment. He's going to get us a quote for that, and we're going to get it. It worked out cheaper than actually getting it posted. So we're just going to get it made
Yep.
locally, and we'll take it there ourselves. So that's what we're going to do with that. But that's all
Yep.
all done. So these will go off to the ship
Yep.
team. Everyone on the ship team will get one of those, and we'll go from there. Right. Day of the Vara. I think I'll probably open that and we'll go through that. Hey, Algared?
We should.
Mm-hmm. I should have probably prepared earlier. Right, Halloween.
Yep. Halloween
We've
2020.
probably got a bit of CitizenCon stuff to go through too. Now, I know you haven't had a chance because you've been
Gallivanting.
traveling,
Yes.
gallivanting. You can actually purchase the Zeus skin even though the Zeus is not out. But I purchased the other ones to meld into buyback as I normally do. Went in game and had a look at them, and ironically, I think this was built for the Saulian, and then kind of ad hoc'd onto all the others. And the reason I say that is it looks so much better on the Saulian than anything else. And I heard something about a ghost ship coming around CitizenCon, and I reckon that's what it's going to be. It's going to be like some kind of transparent version of that Saulian. It's called the Zion Ghost Ship in the codes, and I reckon it's based on that Saulian and the Saulian skin, and that's why it probably looks better than the others. So yeah.
No, I reckon you could be right.
Thank you, Jeremoni. See you at CitizenCon. Yeah, look forward to it, man. £5. Yeah, thank you very much. Appreciate it. So yeah, it's good to see a skin on the Terrapin though. It's kind of like the first skin it's kind of got, and I hope that means we're getting more down the road pretty soon. The Carrick one is probably the worst, and I reckon it'll be worse than even on the Zeus as well, because there's just so much surface area that when you make it so much bigger, it just looks all flat purple. If you know what I mean. So it's got green down the sides, but it's just this massive big purpley. It's too big. It needs to be broken up with more detail, and that's the problem with bigger ships in general. They just don't. Their skins just don't look as good because they haven't as. They've only spent the same amount of time. They essentially need more time.
Yeah.
They're basically doing the same things that they did last year. So the pumpkin carving. They're even doing the same spectacular things. So if you get all the masks, you get the same badges last year. So I've got absolutely no motivation to do it this year because of how long it took me to do last year. Other than the fact that I'd get a second Vandal mask, or actually it would be my fourth now. But yeah, you also get this coin for doing Arena Commander stuff. So that's probably the biggest motivation for me. And then we've got some packs, and they get into insane territory. So that's all the Halloween skins for $48 US. And I'm not sure if I've got this on Australian pricing at the moment or US, but yeah, look at that. A Carrick, a Zeus, a Saulian, and a Terrapin for 1,100. That's insane.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah. And then they got all the usual affairs. They do have a couple of ships up for Thingo, but I'm going to be honest, there's nothing really new there. Probably I can't think of anything you'd want to grab before AIE. Ooh, Algared. Ooh.
Yes.
Did you see it? The steel.
Okay. No, I can't see it because I'm trying to arrange the things on my screen so I can see things. Trying to make if I can make our screen a bit bigger and still see. I don't need a stream engines because I got it on the phone.
Yep.
Slightly bigger. So what was the steel skin?
No, there's no skin for it. It's just the ships that they're selling. They got a lot of Drake ships in, so they got all the Carter series and stuff like that, which I think is kind of weird because, well, it's not weird. They're trying. Essentially, it's every ship that actually has a skin, so it's almost all of them are Drake skins. It's really weird how Halloween is just a Drake affair. Why isn't there an Origin Halloween skin? That'd be why is it just Drake? Why do pirates get all the fun? And I'm not saying that because I'm a Drake fan either, but why are they are they the most pirate piratey ghosty ones? They just had Pirate Week as well. That's the weird thing. So it literally goes from September to October, and it's just 2 months of Drake skins.
Yeah, that is a bit of a sad state of affairs, and of course, I was going to go to the screen questions, but my phone turning itself off into shade. So, and it's a very short stream. Have you started the bot?
No, I have not.
There you go. That's why it's a very short stream.
That would probably be why it's. No, I just thought that was Slack and not doing questions.
Oh, look, I'll put it down to the connection issues and setup that we're having in the lead up.
Yeah.
We'd actually had the camera and everything working yesterday, and today, it just wouldn't connect.
Just replying to Shem Pastor because he didn't give me. Apparently, he left it in. Apparently, the name we put on the shirt, he left it in the PayPal note, and you probably didn't see it.
Yeah, possible.
Yeah, and he's saying that he left it in that, but apparently it's got his real name on the shirt, so he's obviously just seen it on stream and messaged me. Sorry, man. Algared took care of that one, and I took care of the other one.
I was responsible for the PayPal ones, and I did go through and check all the notes to see who the names were. And obviously I missed that one because I went through all of them. So my apologies.
Yeah, unless it only just kind of came in at the last minute. All right, I need to do a test on this. Oh, I just realized I got all my normal crap open. I'm a little bit over the place today because we've got new shit going on. All right, Twitch chat, let's do a test. So I'll type in question.
Chat is working.
Is it working for you?
Yeah. I've got DeJocko and I've got Stephen Brown, and I got you doing a question test. So yep.
Huh.
So
okay, I was on the wrong one. All right, so I've only got 2 questions, but Shem Pasta, just can you message me what your real name is, and I'll change it for maybe the ones that go to CIG. So if you can message me what your real name is, just in Discord like you did before, if you're watching, Shem, and we'll get it fixed. So at least half the shirts, you know.
Yeah. Apologies for that.
Yeah, Daft is changing it for you. There you go. Cool. No problem. And Daft just send it through to me, and we'll get that done for the second lot. All right. Yeah, this has been a real ad hoc stream, hasn't it? We're off to professional level now. Let's go have a look at the other one. What was it? CitizenCon? Because there's a couple of things there that I wanted to go over real quick. Because I think the real big thing, I had a talk with Paul yesterday, and here's the floor layout, right? And I noticed that there was the first thing that kind of stood out to me after I looked at this is there's no computers, none.
Yep. Okay. So that would indicate there's no playthrough of any form for Squadron.
But if you kind of zoom in, right, and just look at the kind of hall out here, there are these 4 kind of box things, right, in the corners, right? And there's boxes up here, boxes up here. I think these are meant to be doors or something. But what Paul was saying, now I don't know where he's gotten this from, but he reckons that ship is not actually a ship. And I also talked to people from JR Fabrications. They haven't built that. They have not built a Hornet.
Okay.
So if you put 2 and 2 together, they reckon that Hornet is a representation of something to do with Squadron 42.
And if that is the case, then it could be very well. It could very well be a playthrough area of at least something.
Yeah, or something to that nature. I'm not saying it is a playthrough area. It could be anything. It could just be a giant stage with statues or something. I don't know, right? But we reckon that is just a representation of something. Because again, I talked to the JR Fabrication people and they haven't built a Hornet. So yeah, I don't know. I just wanted to bring that up to people's attention. So there is a surprise coming. I think is how I'd leave that. There's no content creator area either. That's the thing that worries me. So where the hell are you and I going to set up?
Well, the center's providing us the stuff, so they're going to have to make sure.
Yeah. So I don't know what's going to go on there, but maybe we're in another room or another area, or hopefully we can at least connect to the Wi-Fi and walk around, but we'll have to test that in the days up leading up to CitizenCon. We are looking at doing an episode with Paul about CitizenCon, or what to expect from CitizenCon the day before. So we're going to use that as a test to record with Paul, and it'll also be a test to see how everything works, and then we'll put that out as a pre-recorded episode for you guys. So
I do not look like Supreme Leader Snoke.
He does! Oh my god! Yes! Oh, so good. Yes, Supreme Leader Snoke. Yeah, that's what you called today. Oh, absolutely. That's so good. Who think of that? Was perfect.
Artemis, TGM, you are dead to me. There you go. May the Force rip you asunder.
So yeah, how are you feeling, by the way? Do you want to tell people what happened the day before you left? You don't have to if you don't want to.
Yeah, no, I had one of my procedures, so I'm currently. They chopped me up, and I was literally on it was outpatient surgery, but yeah, they got put under the knife. I now have an implant that records what's going on with my heart. So it's still quite sore.
I have to track him in case he goes crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's actually a tracking device. I'm really an ATO secret agent, and I'm intel gathering for the Australian government. Yeah.
That's it.
We know how bad that's going to
go. So yeah. Do you have the thing you purchased the day before you left too? I think you should show people that too. Don't turn it on. Just quickly. Or do you want to leave it as a surprise?
I do, but it's too far away. I was tempted to have it.
The camera will track you if you go into your room, Algared. Remember we did it yesterday.
Yeah, but it's messy. Messy. The bed's not made. I have to get up at 3 a.m.
Human? No, don't say it. Oh,
yep.
Sorry, Commander Snoke or General, whatever it is. But yeah, Supreme Leader Snoke.
Supreme Commander. Yeah, Supreme leader to you.
Yeah. Right.
Underling.
All right. Well, it's up to you. But we'll leave it as a surprise for later. All right.
Yeah, we'll do it for a trial date later.
Is there anything else you want to go through? They did print the schedule somewhere. That was the other thing I wanted to look at.
The schedule would be a good thing to look at.
I don't know if it actually put it. Did they put it here? No, they didn't. I think I sent it to you in a message, but I think they put it up as a Spectrum post separately. And if someone has it, feel free to link it to me. But I'm pretty sure it was a Spectrum.
Yeah.
Thought I heard an alarm going off. Sorry. But it was just it's an aeroplane. I'll have a quick look on Spectrum and see if I can find it, unless someone knows where it is. But
and I would really encourage people, if you've got a question or something you'd like us to talk about, please chuck it into the chat. Make sure it has question somewhere in it, and the bot will pick it up and chuck it into our chat. Because at the moment, it's going to be a very short chat, and I could waffle for a long time.
We got 3 questions, so this is going to be a really quick episode if we start answering questions.
Well, technically 2, because one of them is saying, why do I look like Supreme Commander Snoke?
Yeah, well, I can talk about that for at least half an hour, so, yeah.
Hey, pick a ship you want us to talk about, and we'll mull over it and say what we like and dislike, and why. Redeemer doesn't count because that's coming or been out. The Cutlass Steel doesn't count because you know how we feel. If you want me to rant for half an hour on the Phoenix, you can ask about that. Modularity executes horror and dismay. Let's see. I suppose if you want someone to regale you on the joys of the Reclaimer, then do that, and Execute will sing its praises for 30 minutes. So we can easily do that.
I'm trying to find. I cannot find the thing. I think I'll just have to go back through the hundreds of messages of me and you going backwards forward today. Yeah, I'll just trying to think of a way to open this in a text document. So I might just read it out because I got no way to bring it up on screen. That's the problem. Wait, I think someone might have sent it to me. They did. Thank you. I don't know who that was because I'm on I sent that to me. I appreciate it. I can't read your name. All I've got is an E at the moment because I'm in streamer mode. Here we go. This is what we wanted. So these are local based times as well, so you'll obviously have to convert them over. But yeah, you can see there. So from 9 to 11 hour grid, pretty much you and I can walk around for 2 hours and look at all the stalls and stuff like that.
Look at all the stalls, talk to people.
Yeah. So the first 2 hours is going to be the kind of real stuff that we wanted to cover. The stuff like, because you never really get to see the stuff outside, not to the length or extent you really want to. It's kind of just like smashed in between the panels.
Yeah.
And then we'll just talk between the panels. But also Paul's going to be hosting on the day. So Paul will be doing the heavy lifting at home and driving this whole set. Something that you guys don't know, but I've actually, if you notice that it's moving when I press buttons, by the way, I've actually rebuilt all this in just the last 2 days, and it's got a whole bunch of things I've got hidden at the moment. Well, they're not hidden from me, but they're hidden from you. But it's going to look really different.
No, it's something. It is. The changes you made are changes, we've been talking about, and you've been saying, I'd love to do this, and we talked about the types of things we'd like it to look. But I think this is one of those instances where your condition, your OCD almost condition takes over and just makes you, I'm going to do it.
Yep. And
once he starts this project, he can't stop. He just.
And I just kind of went for 3 days, so yeah. But it's done now, and everything's upgraded. I've even gone onto the Stream Deck and redone all the buttons on that and everything. But yeah, so we've got some new stuff coming for CitizenCon, so it'll look really good. As I said, Paul's going to be the host, so he'll be kind of sitting in my kind of chair up there, and there's a camera for Algared, a camera for me, and the CitizenCon live stream, and I've kind of set it all up for Paul so he can
he'll be able to switch between the channels. And the other beautiful thing about doing this is you reduce the actual memory size of all the files, didn't you?
It's made it more lightweight, basically, because I had a lot of scenes because I didn't know how to, because I built it 7 years ago, and obviously OBS has updated a lot since then, and I also didn't know how to use it, so I was building it as I went. So I basically took 7 years of what I'd learned and essentially just rebuilt it all. And now it's a lot more done with scripting and stuff like that, and that's why I'm able to make it move around and stuff like that. But yeah, long story short, Paul will be hosting. He'll be streaming to Twitch, to his channel, and then he'll be streaming to our YouTube. That was the kind of agreement we've come with him. And so basically he'll get money off Twitch, we'll get money off YouTube, and everything. We're not doing it for money, obviously. We're just doing it because we want to do it. But between the two of us, or the three of us, I should say, that's what we want to do. So he's going to drive the chat and basically kind of produce it, I guess, or direct it might be a better way to do it, where me and Algared will be on the ground following his directions and going to things that you guys want to see.
And that means that you guys, if we're looking at something, the chat can say, hey, can you go back and have a look at X item? Yeah. We can actually, Paul says, hey guys, go back.
Yeah.
So you guys can actually help direct Paul and see the things you want to see.
Yeah.
And that will hopefully do that.
And even if something, say, comes back to chat for someone else on the ground, they can direct us to go over there. So, like, again, just keeping abreast of the whole situation, like keeping everyone on board essentially, and going where things are and stuff like that. So, it'll just be a kind of cool feedback loop, if you know what I mean. And the main reason Algared and I wanted to do this is, being from Australia, like, I'm literally so far from a CIG studio. There's only one other place on the earth that could possibly be further, and that's basically Antarctica. It's actually the South Island of New Zealand, and only the very bottom. But basically, so for me, it's always felt like watching CitizenCon through a porthole, where I can only see what they want me to see. So I kind of want to change that, so you guys can, if there's something you ever wanted to see, we can go there and kind of look at it and stuff like that. And again, one of the things I notice is that you never really get to see other content creators, like they don't. So we're going to interview and talk to other content creators, see what they are thinking. Hopefully, we know Expat's going to be there. I know Henkin's going to be there. All the people that we've met over the years, and basically just see if we can pull them in. All the Soul Citizens are going to be there, things like that. So we're just going to go through and include as many people as we can, and just kind of the community on the ground side of it, where it's, CIG is the only one that's ever done coverage. I think Burks last year tried to do it on a phone, but not very successfully. We've invested on an actual internet connection at the venue. We've brought cameras, microphones, all that type of thing. So we're hoping to take it to the best coverage that has ever been done by a community member, not just like what we've done previous years, where it's me and Algared kind of sitting there talking about our thoughts between the panels. We want to do that still, but we also want the part before and possibly afterwards. So when you go down to the bar, we're even going to start, like, Paul, one of the things Paul was talking about with us was literally me and Algared at breakfast. And just like literally it starts there and it's the whole day, you know, like what's going on, where we're going, what we thought, because there's just going to be so much information flying out, and just talking about it and getting it out of our head.
One of the other aspects of doing table talk type stuff, of being at the table and having dinner, is it means, you know, that we can be a time where we say, hey, look, expat, come and join us. We're going to have breakfast at this time. Join us and as we discuss what's happened or what we hope is going to happen or what we think is going to be in the scene. And that's going to be something that we never see. And also doing that live stream panel and doing the on-floor stuff. Like you said, in the past, we'd watch the panel and then we'd talk about it in the middle, but we'd never be able to go through what's on the floor and see what's on the floor and focus on aspects of the floor and do a full circle around. And so lots of things we're hoping to do to actually make CitizenCon be something that everyone can feel a part of and join in the journey. But as you said, you know, it has been an expensive venture to get the equipment and tools.
Well, we wouldn't have been able to done it with
actually make it possible.
Yeah, we wouldn't have been able to do it without Patreons, people donating to the GoFundMe, all that type of stuff. So you guys have made this happen, and I really appreciate that. And I don't know, we're not going to make, we're going to probably not even break even on this, but that's not the point. We're going there, and we kind of want to take you with us. Like, if we want to socialize people, it will be outside kind of CitizenCon hours. But when we're there on those kind of, you know, from, what is it?
Days.
Yeah, from the time the doors open to the doors time of close at CitizenCon each day, especially, we're working. And yeah, there are going to be people that want to meet us because they've come all the way there, but we'll do that at a bar citizen or something like that outside that. And I'm sure there'll be times where Algared will want to take a break or I'll want to take a break, and then they can go hang out with some people or stuff like that too. We'll see how that all goes down. And we're hoping Loken... We haven't actually had a chance to talk to Loken yet, but we're hoping Loken was going to join in as well. So we'll see how that pans out down the road.
But as we've said from early times, if we get to CitizenCon and we get the equipment we want, we're actually going to CitizenCon to work. So
thanks for that, Daft. Daft just said he's updated the shirt. Appreciate it.
Thanks, mate. Anyway, first question for today was from DeJocko. DeJocko said, what are your thoughts?
Should we actually go through the schedule first?
Oh, okay, sorry, we got distracted.
We got really distracted. Well, we got really distracted, but the thing I've noticed is they haven't given us a schedule this year. Have you noticed that? It's essentially just the times, but no schedule. Like, it's like they've learned that it gives shit away, so they've just stripped it all out, and it's gone. So
it's panel 1, panel 2, the floor.
No, it just says main show starts at 11 and it ends at 7:15, and the event ends at 9 p.m. Bang, done. So it's literally 12 hours the first day, and then the second day is only a half day, and it ends by 2:30. So yeah, and I know there's meant to be a Astro Esports after that, but I think I'm just going to go to the pub. I don't know about you. I unless there's a whole bunch of people that want us to go to that thing, then we'll probably go. But I haven't bought a ticket. It's the only thing I haven't bought a ticket for. But if there's a whole bunch of people going, then maybe we'll turn up. But I'd rather just go down to the pub and hang out with people and have a chat, you know, and socialize.
After 36 hours of streaming, you know, people might be sick of us, but that's almost what we're trying to try and do is almost continuous streaming. You know, back in 5 hours, you know, so put a lamp up while you hear the snoring in the background, that type of thing. But, maybe not that, but but the idea is to do as much of streaming for CitizenCon as is humanly possible.
Just saving this out because we need. I'm just going to call that corrected names. Done. Right,
and yes, I still have the cough.
Yeah, he does. But he's got a cuff button set up, so he's fine now. For that. All right, what's the first question? DeJocko, you said.
So DeJocko had a question. His question was, or their question was, what are your thoughts on all of the drama surrounding the Corsair changes?
The drama of the Corsair. What did they? Oh,
What's
that's right.
happening with
They
the
no,
Corsair?
I remember now. They changed the guns, so now some of them operate from the co-pilot and not the pilot. Which,
Fantastic.
okay, so this is two-part, right? One, we
Yep.
told you this was coming, and two, eventually every pilot can set the guns to operate off every single station. So there's no reason eventually the co-pilot can't use all the guns, or the pilot can use all the guns. So essentially what you're complaining about is a problem for now. And this is why we don't look at these problems, because they cause a problem right now where evidently when the game comes out, all that's going to go away. You're talking about a cart
Yep.
before the horse problem. And this is an ongoing thing. And this is I don't know. It's like they like to make drama because then you guys talk about it and they get clicks and paid money. I'll kind of leave it
Yep.
there. I don't know what else to add to it.
Unfortunately, that is the case. Negativity does sell, and you just have to look at any of the web pages or streamers who are doing content, and look at when they've done a negative comment, how many views it gets, and the interaction. So, unfortunately, the negativity pays. But the changes to the Corsair at the moment, I think, are positive. It actually encourages group gameplay. Now, I'm sorry if you're a solo person and you like having massive firepower at your fingertips and blowing everything away. But that's not going to be the way it goes in the future, because there is a ship that needs multi-crew play. It needs the NPCs or another player to be doing engineering. You want to have those friends with you. I know from playing with you on the Redeemer can be a lot of fun by yourself, but it's a lot more fun when you've got people working with you in tandem. Same with the Hurricane. Works really well with other people doing those jobs. I'm told the Mole in mining is heaps of fun when you've got people on the turrets doing the mining and someone else going out. I remember doing it when it first came out. You could do the gem mining. We'd actually send someone out to do gem mining while we were mining out another asteroid, and then as soon as they finished the gems, the people on the lasers would swap targets. It was a lot of fun. That group gameplay really made it different from, say, just going out in a prospector and mining by yourself. Was that fun as well? Absolutely. But yeah, so the drama about changes like that.
So one other thing,
it's just not worth it.
So one other thing Monster Avery's added is basically said, I think another issue is that the guns aren't turreted / gimbaled, so hopefully they will turret them in the co-pilot. So I'm wondering if he means, because initially the one at the bottom was actually a turret. The two guns at the bottom were a turret, so they could actually like turn sideways and stuff. So that would be a massive advantage to put those on the co-pilot or the turret underneath, because then you could literally shoot sideways if required. And I wouldn't have a problem with that. But again, this is still the crux of the issue. If you go back to it, is all these people are worried about the game right now. We've got master modes changing. It's not what it used to be. Stuff all that. Push it all to the side and go, this is what they've planned for. Well, I should probably do it this way. This is what they've planned for the end of the game. Worry about where we're going, not where it's at. It's like so essentially the way I would put it this way is, you're the kid. The people that are doing this are the kid in the car going, Dad, are we there yet? Dad, are we there yet? Are we there yet? Worry about where we're going, and if that's where you actually want to get to, worry about that, because it's going to change 50,000. Well, I don't know how many times it's going to change, but it's going to change a lot before it gets to the end.
Oh, if you go back to the very beginning, you've seen the Cutlass go through various changes in terms of the way it performed. From being a absolutely agile, super fast fighter that could carry cargo to an absolute wallowing sow that no one played because it was so bad, to being split into two, where it was a wallowing freighter and a fighter, and then it got morphed again to be more, I think, in line with what was originally envisaged, this kind of semi-agile, heavy-hitting cargo ship.
Yep. Well, you and I recorded an episode during the week that's going to be going to the backlog for While We're Away. It's probably going to be the second. I'm thinking it's probably going to be the second episode, so it'll probably come out just before CitizenCon, or something like that. And that we did on the Redeemer, and essentially it talked about all the changes with that, and that's a similar thing to what's happened with the Corsair, right? It's essentially like if they're going to nerf the Redeemer, I was like, yeah, it's not far behind that the other two are going to probably get this as well. And I mean, I wouldn't, the Connie's not quite in the same ballpark as the Corsair at the moment, but it's got 4 size 5s as well, you know. So,
Yeah.
but they all shoot forward. With this, I think they're trying to kind of nerf it a little bit. But yeah.
Yeah. I think the Corsair's bottom turret, putting it to a gunner, putting it to a co-pilot to be able to control, is a huge advantage.
Well, the Corsair's essentially dominated over the last, since it came out, pretty much. So it's, you know, they're only really getting around to do balancing stuff now, all this time later. If you actually look at, I remember from roughly just before CitizenCon or AOA last year, the Corsair had the most number of kills by a country mile.
Yeah, they did the infographic of ships with the most kills, and the one with the most kills was the Corsair, and very close to it was a Constellation. Yeah. What's the difference? You know, Constellation's a gunship. It's got 4 size 5s. Yeah, but Constellation was a significantly older ship, and so when you looked at the number of kills that both had done, you're going, it didn't really stack up. You went, but Connie's got a lot of kills, but that's over a longer period of time. So at least that was my reading and understanding. So,
well, it'll just bring it back in line with other stuff. And as I said, like we've been saying for years, there's just going to be so many changes they go through. They weren't really working on the game until kind of this year, like when they said, we're going, you know, we're finishing Squadron 42, now we're moving a lot of people over to Star Citizen. And why I'm really excited for this CitizenCon is it's going to show us all their fruits of their labor for 12 months working on Star Citizen. Well, not quite 12 months, but you get my point, right? 10 months or whatever. Yeah. And so when you kind of translate that, you can kind of go, what can I expect the next year? And the year after that, and the year after that. And you could almost put it as a ballpark for how long is it going to take to Star Citizen to get to where I want it to be, or like how many years do I have to wait to get that full kind of Star Citizen experience I'm waiting for?
Yeah, I kind of think of it in terms of the way you've said on a couple of shows we've done. It's like that episode we did with Space right at the beginning of the year, where we're looking at all the underpinning things. And this year and last year, we saw a lot of that underpinning stuff coming in. But this year, we're also seeing a lot of the fruits of that coming out. We're seeing and it really is a matter of just looking at, okay, what's the stuff they've talked about, the underpinning stuff they're building or done? What does that bode for the coming year? And it really is just joining dots and looking at the progress and accepting that progress.
Another episode you and I recorded this week was we did one on a bunch of upcoming ships based about coming out at CitizenCon. That's probably the one I'll release on Tuesday as I'm leaving, and because it's more topical, I can knock back the Redeemer one just a week or so. But that one, man, we're in for some big things between CitizenCon and AIE. I'll just leave it at that. There is some. If you've seen the stuff that's there, and me and Algared will go into depth, but it is again, Algared said the foundational stuff, like the base building. There is some. If we're on point with what we're thinking, there is a few ships coming at that, and they're trying to get the core gameplay loop of, you know, like tier 0 of mining and stuff, as we saw that come in and then it got refined. They are clearly trying to get tier 0 or tier 1 of base building in, and then they can build on top of that, because they need that in place to build other professions off it. Because clearly, if you look at how, we've done episodes on this as well, how the room system works, they are all interconnected. So you need building, you know, a room can literally be inside a ship, can be inside a station, it can be inside a building, and they are all interconnected. And the one thing that was kind of missing from that is all the building stuff to kind of connect it to that. And I think that's what they've been working on this year, because they didn't need it for Squadron, but it is clearly needed for Star Citizen. And once you have that done, everything else will just can spread out from those 3 core things. And I think the other 2 was cargo and scanning. And we did talk about this with Space in that episode you mentioned.
Yep. And the other one that we know is coming in, we did an episode on, which we in the last week or so, which we did release, and that was the AI episode.
Yep.
And that one really picked up the elements in that. And but they said, one of the questions that they were given was, is this stuff going to be, you know, straight across to Squadron or to PU? And the answer was no, because some of the things that is needed for the AI to do in the PU just haven't been ported across yet. It's not going to be there. It's just they're just not functioning. and so you get the impression that there's a lot more coming, and that's a I find that a huge
got a hype train going on Twitch again. They're doing it again.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they're getting rowdy and chucking twisters and shit around.
All right, and of course today, because I am just on the laptop and using the phone for the stream questions, which the phone keeps wanting to turn itself off, which is really frustrating at the moment. So
looking forward to hearing Execute explain how you should focus on the release of the game, not what it has. No, I've never said focus on the release of the game. If that's what you heard me say earlier, that's not what I meant. I said you are like, so many people are looking at ships and the problems with the game now and focusing on that. What I'm saying is, look what they've said where things are going to go and see that it's progressing towards that, not whether you're happy where it is every step of the way, because you're never going to be happy. Well, that's what's the problem with the master modes. They said it was going to change years ago, and now they're finally working on the game and changing it and putting in master modes. They never said that. No, they said it all the time. Yeah, and that's the problem. And so they're going to complain every step of the way, every time it changes, and that's the problem. But they're moving it to what they said it was going to be. So
it's like people complaining about the ship changes. Now, CIG have always said, look at the description that we give for the ships. I can remember Ben saying that about ships. Look at the description of what the ship is said to do, and that's what we're trying to develop or build across it. With the thing, if they're balancing it, no, there's not even major optimization. You know, I was in the game during the week, and someone was asking about, I've got this U-boot computer, and I'm only getting this many frames a second. You know, how come? Well, part of the reason might be you've got some lag issues, or you've got going super quality. But the other factor is elements are have still not been.
Can I give you an example, Algared? I've noticed in Evo, it appears they've implemented interior ship coloring. You know as well as I do, that's massive, right? So instead of rendering everything in the ship, at the interior, the extra, and everything, now they're kind of using the object container streaming to turn off the inside, so it only renders the outside. So it's way more optimized. They're only just now turning that on. Are you serious? But when you think about it, that's a massive performance increase, as Algared was saying.
Yeah. But that's also tied to the room system. And the room system requires what is it? The streaming, you know, the two
object container streaming or server meshing?
Server meshing.
Yeah.
So it requires server meshing to help there. That also is one of the factors that also influences AI from the AI episode. And so you can see so much is just going where they've wanted. But does it mean that the things we've got right at this moment are exactly how we want, or are fun or exciting? No. Sometimes it means they are crap.
Yeah.
And that's where you have to look at and that's where you were saying, well, look at where they've said they're going, not what we've got.
Yeah.
Look at what they've said the ships will perform as. So, you know, if they've said this ship is the fastest of its class for transporting cargo, of all the cargo ships, it'll be the fastest of its class in that thing. Will it be that at the moment? Probably not. But that's
just realize other content creators are going to bait you into watching their content, and they're going to, you know, stoke your fears and your drama and all that type of stuff. And not all of them will do it. I'm just saying the ones that do, they're doing it because they want the views and all that, and they want to get paid. So
views make money.
You don't want someone to one way or to the other. You want a kind of, you want to get content from the whole spectrum if you can get it, and it'll keep you more balanced. And that's how Algared and I have done it. We've always go watch people we don't like, we go watch people that we do like, and try and watch a few in between, because it'll give you more, you know, work out the two extremes and do what's in the middle.
Yeah. And we hope that means that we've always given you a balanced approach. Now, sometimes we've blown it ourselves and we've gone too far down one rabbit hole, but that's also the nature of the game and the nature of covering Star Citizen. Yeah. And yes, I've got to try and stop shifting, because if I shift, if I shift too far this way, you get to see the mess. So anyway,
so we have a first-time chatter on Twitch called Saint Tossin or ST Tossin, who says, "Do you get any content from Spectrum?" No, I pretty much directly avoid Spectrum as much as possible. That place So I've heard people say things for and against this, like they've talked about why, but basically until Spectrum gets downvoting arrows, it's never going to be what they want it to be. And apparently the whole reason they didn't want downvoting arrows because they didn't want people to get piled on. But how do you let people know that they're doing the wrong thing? What's the best way to do that? Anonymous downvoting arrows.
Yeah.
And now we've got people there screaming at each other because they can't anonymously tell people that their ideas are bad. And so, yeah, it's just until it...
and you see people do the downvote. Now, the standard downvote I see now is the emoji, the facepalm emoji. But yeah, it does kind of need that. Sometimes there are some tippets you get from Spectrum, but like you often avoid it like the plague. Of our questions, the next few were kind of covered. Like they were asking what are our plans for CitCon?
Yeah.
And stuff
Is there
like that.
any there that we missed? Was there any that we kind of?
No. Well, I was scrolling down the first 4, and basically most of those were done.
I just want to show this real quick. So, for example, I can't really zoom in on it, but like this is an actual official CIG post, but you can already see how people use the things. That Picard facepalm meme has quickly become the downvote arrow thing. So there are people kind of still using it, right? But I just want to make that a point. So until it gets downvoting arrows, it's never going to be what they want it to be. You need to have it from both ways. You can't just have it all positivity. Look at what happened with Ubisoft recently, and look what happened with Concord, where they had a only positive. They called it positive toxicity. Positive toxicity environment, where you could never say anything bad against the game. Well, everything good has to be able to be criticized to hold up to criticism because it makes it stronger. So if there's never ever any criticism, it doesn't grow. It doesn't strengthen.
There is nothing wrong with criticism, as long as it is constructive.
Yeah, just insulting people.
Constructive criticism is always good, but insulting people, that's what you want to get rid of.
Yeah.
Real quick, saying something like, I can understand them blocking games like, this game sucks, but yeah.
Real quick, we're on Atlas Gaming 4K, gifted a whole bunch of subs. So Xeric Master's got one, Block TJ, I assume that Monster Avery, L Wook, and Sabron 95. Thank you for all the subs. Make sure to say thank you to Atlas Gaming for those. Appreciate it, mate. Right, sorry, Algared, you're saying.
Thanks a lot for that, Atlas. Yeah, so you want to have that avenue where you block off the negatives, where you're saying this game's an absolute dumpster fire. Anyone who just says this sucks, why? Give the reasons why something is bad. Give positive things as to how you could improve it going forward. Now, does that mean you're going to be heard? Does it mean everything you say will be taken on board? No. But if you do it in a positive frame set of not being vindictive or negative, and that's a positive thing. But if you make mistakes, that's part of learning. If you're just coasting and never making mistakes, you're never learning. You're just wasting your time. So,
Jeremo's saying, question, any thoughts on the new sneak peek? But I don't have an email yet for them. So either I haven't been sent it yet, or so I can't open it to have a look at it. But if anyone's got the sneak peek, send it to me via Discord, please, if you can.
So Father and Son Gaming had a question. Their question was, where do we think, and I think this has been covered,
Yep.
but it was where do we think the computers are for playing through Squadron demo? We're not sure if there is one. There could be one where the big icon of a ship is, but at the moment it does not appear there is, and there is something clearly there as a surprise. Much like the program, which just says the show starts.
Ooh, Algared, we got to look at this. Because I see if Algared, I know what it is, just from looking at it, but I reckon Algared's going to look. All right, all right, counting. All right, here we go. 3. I'm going to count how long it takes him to work it out. I think it'll be really quick. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, I probably won't be. That's an outpost.
What is it?
I said it looks like an outpost or a ship.
What did we do an episode on the weekend? And it's the second one.
Yeah. The outpost.
It's the Argo CSV. Yeah.
The vehicle-y type thing.
Yeah. That is 100% what that is.
Yeah. Could well
Yeah,
be.
yeah. You can actually, well, not that you guys can see it because my fat head's in it. Do you know I had someone complaining the other day that we use this mode because our fat head's always blocking things. But
Yeah,
yeah,
well, and unfortunately today my box is
it's
blocking things
solid.
because
But yeah, well, it'll be the same at CitizenCon too. But that looks like leg stabilizers to me that basically come out. And there is another one. There's like a wheel behind our grid, not a.
you've also got to remember, I'm used to being on my big screen.
Yeah. So there.
Today I'm on my
Yeah, look.
laptop.
I'll just do this for a second. There you go. Look, none of us.
Yeah,
So,
I'm on my laptop, and the Discord window is small, and then the screen that I'm watching of this is also small. So I'm looking at 3 inches.
I'll have to do this on the fly, so bear with me. But I will bring it up very quickly. Well, look, we've got an episode coming out next week, and we actually talk about this and a bunch of other things in detail. But long story short, CitizenCon last year, they showed like a base building vehicle where the front of it was like a Spartan and the back of it was a trailer. This is that. Or what you would have known if you'd heard leaks before was the Argo MCV. Now appears to be the Argo CSV. Construction Service Vehicle, or I think that's what we're guessing it is. Yeah. Well, the reason why I think it's service is construction. Service means repair and maintenance, and vehicle is the vehicle part. So yeah, I think that's what it means. Construction Service Vehicle.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. You all right? All right. He's good.
Just coughing.
Yeah. So that's the sneak peek. Anyway, yeah. Go on to the next one.
So the next question was from 801721999. Their question was, what do you think of the purple-green skins? I think in the past we've said
no skin.
Hideous.
No skin is for everyone. You know.
Yeah. Some skins do seem to work better on other ships, and not as good on others. So
yeah, if you've got a Saulian, I think it looks the best on the Saulian right now. I can't comment on the Zeus, but the Terrapin's kind of okay because it's the only skin it's got right now. And the Carrack one, I think there are better Carrack skins. Yeah, I'll leave it at that.
Luna Marias has a question. They ask, where are the questions or comments from the previous comment section? Basically, if we do an ISC and we do a premiere, I'll usually go through that and then look at the comments. But it's not a common thing we do.
The number of people that don't realize episodes are live when we premiere them is crazy. Because the bot still runs and says, comment your questions. So I sit there when I'm watching it and I just delete the posts from the bot so people don't put questions in. But Algared's the opposite. He just sits there and collects all the questions. So
yeah. And if I get questions in that or comments, I'll often pick them up. Now, do I do it on all our shows? No, because there's not enough time in a day to actually grab every question that comes up from a comment section. But I do actually often scroll through and look at them. But the last week has been, a bit busy. I was sitting there. I'm leaving on the Thursday. Sitting there.
A bit. God, you've had it lazy then, my friend. A bit. Yeah, I'm sitting
there on a Tuesday afternoon. I'm leaving on Thursday. I'm sitting there Tuesday afternoon. I get a phone call from the hospital saying, "Hey, we've got a vacancy for a procedure you need." I've already been waiting, 4 months or so. So, yep, okay. But so that was just a small little, thing in the works that screwed my timing up.
Yeah.
And you've been no different from you. You've had things going on that have.
I'm going to be honest. I've got a lot. I'm just down to packing bags now. After today, I've probably got 1 or 2 more scenes to do that Paul requested. And that they're all very minor, but like half an hour of work each, if that.
Yep.
And then the rest of it is really just packing bags. And my mum said she's going to come around and help me do that because she can tell I've been scatterbrained because I've just had so much, and that's why I chopped all the small ones off, so I only had the big things to deal with. So it's all small.
But I
now.
think I think like you've done while we're doing the interface that we use and we're using for citcon was a fairly big task. we did actually have, the old format was actually usable for what we're doing.
Well, I could literally, I still kept it.
The question was, could we do it?
It's still there. Like, I've still got it all saved, so we could switch back to it today if we wanted to. But yeah.
But the big thing was, going forward, it's something we've wanted to do, and putting the effort in now. Yes, it's put a heap of stress on, but we use it in CitCon, and going forward, we'll just continue using the new format, the new setup.
Well, we've been talking about like CitizenCon probably for 2 years. And then I think you and I actively probably started making plans in December last year, and it's just been going from there. And I've been, how long have I been talking about redoing the interface? And I just call it the interface. And I said that probably for at least 9 months. I'll redo everything, and and then I've just like I just pulled my thumb out during the week and just smashed it out in like 3 days. And even when I first sat down with Paul and just thinking about, the first thing he said was, "That's what I wanted to do." Like, so when I kind of got it all moving and stuff, and you'll see it on the day, it all moves now. So you see it a little bit when we like go over to things like this, but it all moves. Well, this is with 2 people. Imagine it with 4. And you got the idea.
And just seeing that as the frames even morph in, like in the past we'd have gone down, you'd just still had our frames possibly down the bottom, but
I can do this, Algared. Hang on, we'll show
morphs and just kind of.
See, or I can do this.
This is another spotlight, so we can. Yeah, that's when he's being a real bastard. When he doesn't want to, he's trying to shut people down. He just puts himself up. So,
you're talking too much, Algared. Shut up. Yeah, I can just do that. So
yeah. So that's one of the things we also were looking at doing, is being able to spotlight whoever's talking, especially if it's on a particular issue. So lots of little things we're hoping we can do to just make the stream just better overall. So that's part of our setup for CitCon, but going forward it's also going to be our setup for Inforunners in general.
Yeah. So
but I do like how it morphs from this frame to the when you do the
browser, this one,
the browser, it streams and that just disappears and comes morphs into the no frame.
As I told him yesterday, that was the hardest thing to do. It was a pain in the ass, but I got it to work.
But the effort has been worthwhile.
Yep. Now it's done.
So that was why don't we have the questions from our previous shows? Basically, I didn't have time to grab them. I don't always do it, and even what we found is if I did them right at the start, and we just went through all those questions, we didn't get any questions because people were just, what's the point? Yeah. So what we started to do is just, if we got them, we just chuck them in and out every few questions.
And that kind of then just morphed into how busy we are getting ready for CitizenCon. And it'll be the same thing while we're away. We will try and grab things, but you got to remember, as of Tuesday, I don't have a PC until I hit England, and then Stimpack Steve was nice enough to lend me a laptop, and John arrived at John's house. John pulled it out and went, "This thing's brand new." Like, he's just like, this is like a whole laptop there that he's hardly even touched. So I've got a laptop to use while I'm there, which is just going to be a godsend. So I've actually got something that I can, we can take with us on the day and we can use and stuff like that. So I'm really appreciative of all the people that have come out of the woodwork to help us. I did try to add people's names to the back of the shirts and stuff, and if their name's not on there, I do apologize, but I've probably just been tired, and I've been worried about forgetting a lot of things, so I've been starting to write. I've got sticky notes bloody everywhere. You know what I'm like. But as I said, I've been kind of knocking the sticky notes off, and I'm down to like 3 of them now, so it just please forgive us, but we're just doing a lot of stuff to try and get this all organized. Like today, how it stuffed up a little bit at the start, that's our worst case scenario, that something just goes wrong and we can't do what we've been planning for all this time, and we just want to
literally
do it right
we
by you guys.
tested the camera. Sorry, I cut you off there.
No, that's all right. All I said was we just want to do it right by you guys.
Yeah. And like we actually, yesterday when we were talking shirt stuff, I actually said, look, I actually want to test the camera as well, because I've got, because I've got the laptop. I hadn't used it for this at hadn't tried hooking everything up, didn't know what the internet was going to be like, so a whole host of little things, and we had it working perfectly. And this morning, I got on, and it wasn't working. And I was like, couldn't work out why. And so it took us a while to actually unravel the settings that had got screwed up. So,
but again, the more it stuffs up, the more you know how to fix it. So that's kind of a good thing too. So
yeah. So that was a bonus there. So Vengeful Devil has a question for us.
Yep.
Which do you think will win a 1v1? A Javelin or an Idris? Idris M.
For me, I think it would probably be the Javelin, being kind of more of the destroyer. The Idris is more the carrier, so you'd be kind of a lot more reliant on your craft, don't you think, Algared?
Look, I do think that's probably we're looking at. My initial thought was a Javelin would be the one that would win, but you've also got to consider the ships that it's carrying. So the Idris has 3 fighters or 3 small craft like that. The Javelin's got at least a Redeemer or a ship that size in its hangar. So you've got those things. But from memory, the Javelin's got the bigger guns and the bigger secondary turrets than the Idris.
Bigger torpedoes.
Idris has speed, and it's got bigger torpedoes. So now the Javelin has the Idris M has torpedoes. It does have a size 5 cannon as well as the size 10, and it's got the man guns.
Yep.
But the Javelin's got the 2 big turrets, plus it's got both secondary turrets, plus it's got torpedoes, and it's got heavier armor. So
yeah. I think you'd be really reliant on your railgun. You'd have to have the railgun on the Idris, and you'd also have to.
We are talking Idris M.
Yeah, and it would also have to be the ships that are on it, but they're also an additional cost above what the Idris is.
Yeah.
And I think if you just look at the 2 kind of naked stock variants, be realistic. You've got to expect a ship that's half the price of the other one not to match that one. Let's be honest. Like, would you be pissed if you brought a Javelin and then Idris could kill it? We'll kill one, right? But I mean, one-on-one, you would expect the Javelin to absolutely floor it. It's twice as many people as well.
Unless you catch it with its shields down and power down and sitting on planet side. You shouldn't be winning. It's like saying, I've got an Aurora ES. Why can't I beat that Redeemer?
I brought this for $5 and I brought this for $10, but this $5 one should smack the shit out of this. No, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah. I can remember when CIG first had the Constellation, and the Constellation was said to be able to, was a space superiority fighter, so it was seen as a heavy fighter. It was supposed to be able to handle or defeat 3 F-7C fighters and come out victorious 50% of the time. And part of the reason for that was when you did the price point of the F-7C versus the Connie was 2.5 times the price.
I think it was 2 F-7Cs, not 3, but everything else you said was correct. From my memory, I could be wrong, but I remember it being 2, not 3. And as you said, half the price.
The reason I recall 3 is when they did the fight of the F-7Cs versus the Connie. There were 3 F-7Cs, and the Connie also won.
Back then,
but they also had
the F-7C was 110, and the Connie was 225. So that would match up with the money thing you were talking about, though. So again, point still stands.
And it also looked at. It also still looked at the number of crew you had on the ship versus the. So a 3-person crew should be equal to 3 one-person ships. There was that type of. So you had various things going into that consideration. But you'd fully expect a 90 crewed Javelin or an 80 crewed Javelin to be far better than a 24-person fully crewed Idris. Just on that aspect alone. So next question, when I open the phone again, was Vengeful Devil. Oh, that's the one we just did. Sorry. I hope that answered your question, Vengeful Devil. And the next question was...
Wolf Blitzer. You want me to read it?
Wolf Blitzer, and yep.
Will the Zeus be on sale again when it's released? Yeah, 100%. Give me money. Of course they give me money. The interesting thing is, like, I think they'll kind of mention on the day, but with the number of ships that are coming, I just get a feeling that it's going to be like, you know, they did the ship talk panel and they basically say it's in the store now. It'll be just like really quick. Because I think they're going to want to get into the newer stuff.
In the store.
And they've got so many ships coming that I don't think they're going to have time to, you know, stew on what they already consider old. Yeah, that's the old news now.
I'd read the upgrade pack for a couple that are coming out this year because they're going to be exorbitant.
Yeah.
Shenpast has a question. What is your take on all the negativity in the Star Citizen community? It seems like this is different than in the past.
I don't know. I just think it's all drama filled, and it happens a lot in the lull periods when they've got absolutely nothing. This is the thing. Like if you are so reliant on COG's content, and we learned this years ago, and we've said it before. If you've been a long time viewer, we realized very early on that we couldn't rely on CG for a constant stream of content, so we make a lot of our own, right? And because of that, we are not reliant on the whole negativity to feed us type of thing. And generally, fast what we consider a bad episode, so to speak, that only happens in the downtimes, right? And we don't really change what we do very much. And so basically, our ebbs and flows come in the season, right? And so when we see a bad episode, it's not because we did something wrong. It's because there are just less people watching because Star Citizen's in a downturn. And so we've just kind of got to that point where we just keep doing what we're doing. And again, if we didn't enjoy this, we wouldn't be doing this. And I don't know if you guys can kind of tell, and I kind of put this back to you. You can let us know in chat or let us know in a statement through the questions. But we don't seem to get burnt out. We don't seem to get tired of doing this. We don't seem to get hateful or anything like that, or just too negative in general. And that's because it's not tied to our wallet. And I don't know how else to put that. Like I think if it's tied to your wallet, it just becomes passionless.
Well, it becomes your job rather than
that's it.
Rather than a passion, and I think that's one of the things that has helped us. And I think it's time. I think if people watch as time went on, like I know people still get frustrated at the the times we talk over each other or cut each other off or do stuff, and sometimes that's lag, sometimes it's something popped up we need to draw attention to, lots of those reasons, but it is also the nature of a conversation. But I think if you went back and looked from the beginning, you'd actually see a development of our interaction with each other and of us as hosts and as co-hosts and even as friends, like
friends and people. This whole channel has changed my life on how I think about things, how I interact with people, how I talk to people, noticing things about myself that are wrong with myself, but how to fix them. It's taught me who good people are, who bad people are, and as someone that's bipolar, it's always very hard to get into things because I naturally just think differently how other people think. I had to kind of learn how other people thought as I grew up, and it's been really good for that, and I'm realizing my strengths and weaknesses and other people's strengths and weaknesses. So someone can come into a conversation and almost within a sentence now, I can tell if they have a disorder or something like that, or if they're just angry, where before I couldn't tell those type of things. Real quick, who was it? Dafty Digit gifted a tier 1 sub to Shenpasta. Thank you for that, Dafty Digit. Appreciate it. So long story short, I think we've both grown.
Yeah. Artemis has a question for me, I think, because it's Supreme Leader. What are your hopes for the new Mirai Guardians ship interior? Also, dual size 5 repeaters.
What are your hopes for the new Mirai Guardian ship interior? Also, dual. I just want it to be kind of something cool and new. I think you would agree with me. Now, you correct me if you think I'm wrong here, right? But the feeling I kind of get of Mirai is a little bit like Gundam. You know that
Yep.
Tokyo anime, Japanese robotics, Astro Boy, that kind of robotic Japanese
Yep.
anime. That's kind of the feel. It's not
Yeah.
exactly that because they've brought it back to kind of realistic, but that's kind of what I think's inspiring it. And so I'd expect something kind of the interior would be a bit more tech heavy, or you know how they said low tech and high tech. It would be high tech, but like
Yeah.
Tokyo high tech, not English high tech, if you know what I mean, or
Yeah.
Western high tech.
I get the
Yeah.
I get the feeling that makes sense. Like of all the companies, like you got,
Mm.
I always got the feeling that MISC were the kind of a Chinese-inspired company, whereas Origin are the German company, where you know, so always that kind of focus on stuff.
Yeah.
But the heavy industry company of MISC, and then their breakaway company that does their
racing and performance,
their racing and performance art, which, as we see, seems to be combat and
racing.
speed or racing, and it just seems to make sense. So
I did.
If Mirror is a Guardian, it's.
Just real quick, sorry to interrupt you. I just realized I did actually edit the video that you and I did. Remember I said there was nothing on the Guardian? A bit of information came out in the Guardian, so I just recorded a bit and chucked it in there. But to let you know, because you're on the plane, they found code for the Guardian, but they also found reference to a variant that was called the Qi. QI. Now, if you look up Qi in Japanese kind of undertones, it basically means like air and breath. And then the second version of it is energy and stuff like that. So I don't know about you, but like air and moving and energy, I just went, oh yeah, that's a racer. So I think the default Mirai will be the combat, and I think the Qi will be the racer.
Yeah, and even for Qi was not a racer. I could see it being a stealthy, fast data runner, which is kind of racing anyway.
Oh, it's pronounced
stealthy
chi.
Because, you know, air and.
They're telling me in chat it's pronounced chi, not qui. I always thought it was like the Qi charger. I just thought it was a giant Mirai wireless charger, like one of these. Oh man, I have to pull it out, but like one of these.
Maybe it's
just a Qi charger. Yeah, just a Qi charger. Or Qui. I think they're saying it's called Qui or Chi. Okay, Chi.
Dual size 5 repeaters. Nice.
Yeah. Griffin Gaming did a super chat. Thank you, Griffin Gaming. Great show as always, guys. Yeah, looking forward to seeing you there, Griffin. Definitely we're going to get you for an interview at some point, or talk to you between some of the panels or something like that.
Yeah,
for sure.
Or
have a drink as well. Yep. Citizen Scott also said this isn't your job. No, this is not our job. He's a what you're full time or part time? Full time Supreme Leader. Part-time, so he's a part-time language teacher. I technically do nothing now, because of where I live in the world. I'm in a regional area, and my skill set is just not required. So, you know, if I went into full-time streaming, like maybe when Star Citizen comes out, I'll move over and play the game a lot. But I also, this is the other thing I will tell you. Like one of the reasons why. We are not burnt out on this is we have other interests. So if I was a streamer, I think Algared, you would agree with me on this. I wouldn't just do Star Citizen. I would do.
No, you'd be doing Hunt, and you'd be doing.
Yeah, well, what have I been playing this week? I've been playing Darktide, Warhammer Fate Darktide. I smashed out Space Marines 2, which was also Warhammer. Ironically, I just realized. No, I'm not a Warhammer person, but I like both their games. I've been looking at Satisfactory. I've played Satisfactory since the beginning. I notice a lot of trends being a former developer, so I can basically see when a game's going to be bad, like way beforehand. I've got friends in the industry still, so I still hear things, like when I heard about the PS5 Pro and things like that, like that it was coming and stuff like that. So I could use those connections that I've got to spin into something else. But Algared will tell you I am not good on my own. I just have this anxiety thing where when I have one other person with me to bounce off, I'm just so much better. But also I've kind of, this is going to sound really weird, but I like the bounce. Do you know what I mean, Algared? Like there's something about you put something out there and you get a response back. You don't quite get that with chat in the same way you get it from a real person. And again, as Algared kind of alluded to earlier, we've built a rapport, even though we are very, very different people, right?
Odd couple, you know.
Yes, the odd couple. Yes,
The
very
odd
much
couple,
so. Yeah.
You know, so very much.
Yeah.
I think I'd be the Felix Unger and you'd be the sport reporter. Yeah.
Okay.
As much as
I'll just nod and say yes. I don't know.
Felix Unger was
did I
prim
think
and proper and always dressed up, and the sport reporter was a slob.
Volta or Father and Son Gaming donated a sub to Senayala. I'm sorry I missed that one. Sorry, mate. I was preoccupied. I missed it. Sorry. Apologies. Thank you.
The text is so small. The text is like so small for me. I can't read it if I tried. So
well, it's because you're on the laptop. You're not used to the big screen.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. And usually when I'm on the big screen, I've got YouTube open on one side, us in the middle, and I've got the questions on the other side. Plus, I've got the iPad with the Twitch going. So
we should have got you a portable monitor, Algared, that you can take with you with the laptop, and then you would add a second one.
Yeah.
Well, they're pretty cheap now. They're down to about $40, and it's just a really thin screen, and you can kind of sit it on top of the laptop, and then it connects to the laptop as a second screen. I'll show you that later after stream.
Yeah, it would be an interesting one to get. Anyway, Stephen Brown has a question. When do you think we will get AI blades, or when do you think we'll get blades or AI on ships? And I think if you look at the episode we did on AI,
that's what I was going to say.
Earlier in the week, I think that answers that question.
Yeah.
So go watch that episode. It looks at the AI article that was from Jump Point, and it was a bloody good article.
Yeah. It's all in programming code, but again, we go through it in the episode, don't we? We just highlighted all the real key points.
Yeah. And it was, I can remember when I first read it, I said to X, I think this is an episode, and I just think there's so much in it. But one of the problems was it does use a lot of the kind of, you have to read between the lines because there's a lot of jargon, I suppose, in the
it's written by a programmer.
What jargon means. But,
it was written by a programmer.
But it was, but there was so much in it, and basically it was AI is linked to server meshing, which is also a link to room system, and we're seeing them doing the culling of a room system in the contents in ships, which is part of a room system.
Yep.
If that's coming, that means they've got server meshing working to that point. AI is coming, that'll tie in with that. They talked about how you could have AI with a name, a profession like engineer, and how they've got places where they go and can do the tasks. And so
you'd have to assume
it's a lot closer than I think people think.
You'd have to assume turrets are the first thing we're going to get, though, because we've already got AI that sits in turrets and shoots. So it's just, instead of a person sitting in it, it's a blade. So that, again, they've essentially got to finish a gameplay before they can make the AI for it. Because if you think about it, if I make the AI for it and then you make a change, then I've got to do this again. So basically, you finish that and then go, right, that's all done. Now build the AI for it. Because every time you change it back here, you got to change this again. And you don't want to be doubling up like that.
And that was one of the other things they talked about was, one of the last questions was in terms of the AI in Squadron, how does that translate to the AI in the PU? And the answer was, well, it doesn't really. The AI in Squadron is exactly the same. Why some things aren't there yet is the objects aren't there, or the professions aren't there, or something else that's not yet been brought across into the PU isn't there, and that's why those NPCs aren't working yet. But all the NPC styles that they've got are there, and they're building the NPCs so that a dev could go in and create and make any NPC have any characteristic. So all the skills of one NPC could be applied to another NPC just by clicking buttons, just by going down the radio buttons or whatever. So my reading from that is that that is coming a lot sooner than we think. But when? I can't tell you.
I'm trying to reply to Rect in chat, so I'll just say it loudly because I can't, for some reason, it won't let me type back to him. It's not capital Q, capital I. It is capital Q, small I, which definitely makes it a word. not an acronym, Rect. So, and again,
Yeah.
if you look at the people that they're the ones that actually looked up the word quai, not me. But yeah, you can go look it up yourself. And but we do talk about it in the episode. As I said, Algared didn't, but I did. But yeah, I think they're spot on with that because it makes a lot of sense. Well, it does to me. I'm biased because I thought about it coming as a racer 12 months ago. So yeah, I've been wrong before. Look what I talked about with the Rambler and the Scout and the Cutter. I was completely wrong. So that's just me hoping. I'll freely admit straight away, I'm probably more than likely wrong, right? But things are lining up like I said.
The idea of it being a racer makes sense, but I've got no dispute with your reasoning there.
Yeah.
If you're looking for other options, you think, okay, what are racers used for? Okay, racers are fast, nimble, carry small objects. Okay, so that's high priority transport, Inforunners, scouts, jump point, mappers. They're the types of things that those small racing ships are really doing. It's if you think of the profession of what a racer is really a jumper, someone who is skilled at going through jump points.
Rick Skylight asked in chat, why is Algared dressed like he just came back from Africa?
Well,
where do you reckon he gets all the skins for the Uwu girls from?
This is actually a batik shirt. It is an Indonesian, I suppose, formal dress. So I look like, as my friend said when they gave it to me, they said, it makes you look like one of our officials. So
whatever you say, Supreme Leader Snoke. Yeah. I think that's the best thing. You're not going to live that down. I think we have to bring that shirt out again, and we'll do the Supreme Leader Snoke. We'll do a...
while I'm in the
if we ever do merch, we'll do a Supreme Leader Snoke shirt with you on it. It'll be funny.
Yeah, a Supreme Leader Snoke bobblehead, yes.
Yeah, something like all right, next question, Aaron.
Okay.
What are we up to?
The next question, Robert Voles. What do you think of possible transport? Oh, you just did that one, didn't you?
Yep.
Wolf Blitzer, when you talked about
no, we didn't do that. What do you think of the possible transport role of the Zeus at leaks? Well, the transport role is it's a CL, so it's essentially a freelancer max, but it gets a tractor beam. But as Algared's correctly brought up several times, it blocks some of the components, so you've got to lose some of those to get it. So it's got a gain and a loss. You've got to somehow balance it out between it and the max, right? So basically, yes, it can take as much cargo, and it has the tractor beam, but the Max doesn't have the tractor beam. But also, the Max can take a large vehicle. This can't. I don't even think I haven't tested it, but Cyclone might fit. But at the moment, it doesn't look like it will. Like that's its problem. It's got a very small door on it, so everything is weirdly bent. But giveth and taketh. Even when they look exactly the same, they're not exactly the same. And then if you go back to the default Zeus, it's not a transporter. It's an explorer. But unlike
this one is actually asking transport capabilities of a Zeus ST in the leaks.
What? Hang on, I didn't see that. Where was that? Is that today?
So that's Robert Voles' question.
All right, well, you go on to the next one, and I'll go have a perusal real quick.
But even on that, if the ST has cargo capacity, if it's a long distance racer, it needs supplies and the ability to change components when they burn out. If it's an Inforunner, which needs speed and agility to do its job, it needs cargo to do whatever it is, whether it's computer storage or so having some cargo capacity is not a big thing as far as I'm concerned. So, but anyway, you check that out, and I'll go on to Wolf Blitzer's question.
Yeah.
Wolf Blitzer has a question. It was when you talked about the Firebird.
Ooh.
As a misfire. Okay, you found it. Yep.
No. The Mirror Garden is a crew of one. It's like what we said in the video. It's not a medium ship. It's a small. We were right. Interesting. So interesting. Yeah, keep going, Algared. Sorry, I just derailed you. There is a lot here that just got dropped in the last 24 hours. Algared, you've muted yourself, bro. I can see a mouth movement. I'm not hearing anything.
Sorry.
That's right.
Wolf Blitz's question was, when we talked about the Firebird as a missile fighter, how does that compare to the other missile fighters, and which one is best? So you're talking Firebird or the Mirai, the Talon,
Okay, I found it.
and the Mustang Delta. So you're talking about 4 ships that are just only have missiles and not much else. And I think it comes down to role. They're all one-person single-seat fighters. From memory, the Mustang has some very small lasers, but it's mainly dumbfire missiles. I think the Shrike is the same. They're dumbfire missiles. Going up, we go to then the Shrike. I can't remember the.
Sorry, I'm just. So
other ships, but,
so what was the question? The one by Wolf Blitzer?
Yeah. So the one it's asking about how the Firebird stacks up against the other missile.
It basically kind of really it's volume. It basically can shoot 4 at a time, where most other ships it either fires all of them and then they're gone. But this thing can kind of repetitively do 4. So unlike the only other ship that can kind of really do that is like the Misery, the Freelancer Misery, where it can kind of pump out 4 at a time. So it's a volume thing, but even then it still eventually runs out. And again, as me and Agard said at the time, for the same price you can actually get the Misery, and the Misery also does cargo. So you're not going to fly as well, but then it can do more. So again, giveth and taketh away, as I said.
But then comparing it to the other missile fighters, that's and that's the Mustang Delta, the Mirai, the Talon Shrike, and the Fury.
Yeah, but again, they're a different class too, because the Shrike's a lot lighter, and that, as I said, give and taketh.
And they do different roles and different things, so it's a bit hard to do that. Sheldon JL has a question.
Hang on. So going back to the previous question, so what it's showing here in the code is it says RSI Zeus passenger cargo grid left, and then passenger cargo grid right. Zeus spoiler passenger, as in spoiler, the back spoiler of a car, and then RSI Zeus winglet passenger left. So, and they're all under spoiler or passenger, right? So it gets the extra wings that we were talking about, the extra spoiler, but it specifically mentions passenger. So in the cargo bay, it's like an E1.
Yeah.
So, I'm going with this, right? But it also looks like it still has cargo room in there as well. So I'm interested to see if maybe it's even modular, so it becomes like a luxury touring vehicle, but it's also a racer. So it could be interesting to see where it goes. But maybe it isn't a racer. Maybe I was completely off the mark. And especially now
the scenic tours.
Especially now if the from what I'm seeing and what we suspected earlier in the week with the Mirai being a crew of 1, and it probably doesn't have a very big interior, if at all. If that's the case, then the races that I talked about are off the table. And it's not a racer, and it's a luxury touring vessel that's like a bus.
Zeus scenic tours.
The first thing I'm thinking of is like, those speedboats in New Zealand that go up and down the rapids, and they have like 30 people. That's what I'm thinking of. So it's like a racing touring.
And I could see Zeus having a kind of a luxury transport role, because we've only seen RSI present 1 luxury ship or module, and if I do another luxury module, it would make sense to be in that ship. So we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah.
All right, Sheldon. Question for Deep Space Salvage acquisition: Carrack or Odyssey?
Also got mention of a Zeus Mohawk bounty, Zeus Mohawk passenger. Interesting. So I'm going to have to go through all that. There's a whole bunch of stuff there to go through now.
Yep.
Right, sorry, what was the question?
So Sheldon had a question.
Yep.
For Deep Space Salvage, would you take a Carrick or an Odyssey?
Well, deep space would have to be the Carrick, but there's not going to be a lot of salvage out in deep space. It's going to be more like where other ships go, because that's what you're essentially mining other ships in a turn of phrase. But I think there will be a cost involved, right? I'm almost thinking the Terrapin's a better bet. You know what I mean? Because you can still use it to find things, but it can also act as a scout to find the next one you're going to. It's smaller, it's easy to maintain. Where when you go something like a Carrick, it has to have a whole crew on its own to operate, and it's kind of overkill because that's meant to be out on its own.
Yeah.
Where the Odyssey is a planetary locked one, so I don't think either of them are really appropriate for an industrial salvage mark. I kind of even look at the Scout being better, maybe even better still, because it's smaller and cheaper again. You don't really need anything really substantially huge. You know, you just need something that's going to find stuff fairly quickly that you can munch the next one. And they've got a lot of time to do that. You're going to be, what are you going to be, 20, 30 minutes munching this one? I'm only going to find one.
Yep. I was out in my my Vulture in the week before I left, and I salvaged what was it I salvaged? I salvaged a Corsair.
Yeah.
And to strip it of the components, to strip it of the armor, of the covering, to then take all the guns and weapons off and empty the cargo out. Easily took 4 or 5 hours to do it right, and that was with Sol Galaxia joined me on that, and we were just doing that. Merely, we did have some issues we had to solve beforehand, but we still ended up doing a couple of hours of just stripping the ship, stripping all the stuff off, stripping the content out, and then
just
shredding it.
Just to qualify the question for a few people, it says for acquisition of salvage, so not actually salvaging, but finding the salvage. So it's just what's Explorer would you use to find? And I think the Terrapin's also got the other benefit of the two, because it's so much smaller and it's got 2 scanners. So again, we don't really have scanning in yet, and until it drops in, we can only draw on our pool of knowledge. But the pool of knowledge in my book would be cheaper, lighter, faster, not bigger, further, faster. As in like the Carrick, where you have to have this whole massive crew. It just seems really overkill for that, and you're gonna have to, bigger and all the maintenance that goes with that. Where you could just have the Terrapin, and the Terrapin's probably gonna be able to zip back to a planet or moon and refuel much more efficiently than keeping a whole Carrick running.
The other thing to weigh in with that is how far the scanners can see. So the Terrapin's going to have wide scanning range. It's basically got larger scanners for its size. The Carrick's going to be equivalent to that. Even the Odyssey will have high quality scanners. They might be tuned for slightly different things, but
what about
to be able to do?
I don't want to say too much, but I just thought of the one we talked about in the episode, the Star one.
Yep.
That would work really well.
That could also be another one. Another ship for finding stuff in space is the Endeavour. The Endeavour Discovery.
Yep.
With its telescopic laser telescope. It does a deep space search, finds something, sends. That looks like a wreck over there. Send something off. You've got so the highest, even the Corsair, because it's an explorer. It's going to have scanners. Any ship that has drones or probes is going to be an advantage for doing that type of stuff as well. So,
right tool for the right job. So, right. Citizen Scott says MR/ST at CitizenCon. Yeah, no. I think the MR will be further down the road because of bounty hunting. It'll come with the bounty hunting. And I think the ST might be concept sold at CitizenCon or AIE. But the fact that it's showing up in the files, Algared, I'm going to put 2 and 2 together, and you feel this is a speculation. We did an episode on AI. Zeus ST E1 CitizenCon.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Possible.
Maybe.
Possible.
Yeah.
Enough rope to hang ourselves. Anything's possible. Look.
Well, how nuts would people go if you dropped an E1 and a Zeus ST and they're both passenger transport and the AI to go with them?
And the AI was able to be passengers on those ships.
Yeah, and for anyone that watched the episode, they said expect to see more soon.
Yep, and that was one of the key things in that article as well. We're leveraging on what we've done in ship components and stuff. Expect to see more soon, and that's talking about AI. And you go, where is that going to be? So, yeah, anything that's going to use, the possibilities are endless. But yeah,
either way, I think we're in for a hell of a time at CitizenCon.
Indeed. Socially Confused has a question.
Yep.
What is your wildest prediction, wish for what you want to see at CitCon? Well, my wildest wish is Squadron 42. My prediction is that we'll get something on Squadron 42. I think the original plan was to have a launch of Squadron 42. I think that's what the Gala event was about. That's been pushed away or pushed down the track because it wasn't ready for release. I think though we will get a release date or we will get a major information about Squadron, but what I can't tell you. And then there's the likelihood of getting a whole pile of ships and other stuff. So yeah, what about you?
Sorry, I'm replying to someone else complaining about their real name being on the back of the shirt. So it looks like you missed a few of them, Algared.
Well, they went in the notes. I went through the notes.
Yeah, it says it said it was on the notes of the Power donation. But I don't remember seeing someone by the name of that tag, but I do remember seeing the real name. So it's all right. You got to forgive me now, Algared, again. He's traveling and we've got a lot on our mind at the moment, but we'll change it for the final version, but we can't change it for the other one because it's gone to the printers now. I went there about 3 hours ago. Can you look in general, please, Daft, if you're still watching, and change that guy's name for me? Yeah, it is on the back of the shirt as your real name. Sorry, bud. But yeah, we can't change that now. Sorry.
I did go through the PayPal and I did look for any names and
and I can't
those that had a note in there.
And I can take this off my own shoulders because it was all paid to Algared's PayPal, so I had no way to look through it.
No.
So.
No, it is on me.
Yeah.
Any of those errors are on me. I will go through and double check, but I'm pretty certain I pulled off.
Yeah.
Pulled off some because I literally went through yesterday and I was even saying, what do we do with this person who says they don't want a name on the shirt?
Yeah, it's so Daft. The person's talking to me in general on Inforunners, and I can't see his name because I've got streamer mode on. To block all the sounds. But yeah.
Yes, otherwise it going.
Yeah, every time someone messages me, and I get a lot of messages during the show.
So Socially Confused asks, what are our wildest predictions wish to see at CitizenCon? What are you hoping for?
Yeah. Wait, hang on. More people. Sorry, what was I hoping for at CitizenCon? I think we're going to leave that for an episode, a day or two before we CitizenCon. So we're actually going to do that on the ground at Manchester, when the information's kind of fresh and stuff. But I'm kind of expecting Squadron. I'll just leave it at that. I think that'll cover it. What about you?
Well, basically I said the same. I'd hoped we were going to see a launch of Squadron.
Yeah.
The gala has been pushed away. That I think indicated very early that we weren't getting a release of Squadron at CitCon.
Yep.
But I fully expect we'll get something, an update or a launch date. But yeah. Jock Cop says, you guys were a little lukewarm on the Galaxy in its initial release. Has the addition of base building changed your mind?
No, because we knew about base building.
Yeah.
We didn't miss the base building part.
We knew there was construction and that was base building, so...
Yeah. And we've always kind of been more of the big ship earn down things. So, and if you think about it, it really just took parts of other ships to kind of make up for itself. Like it's got the Endeavour above it. There's clearly a bigger refining ship coming. Even the Orion has refining on it. The Arastra's got refining on it. So that literally makes that ship for the Prospector and the Mole. That's it, right? And then the other part was the base building. And again, there's a Pioneer above it.
Yeah.
So it didn't have anything new. That's why it had everything together, because it wasn't a new, it was a sum of its parts ship. Again, which is why we compare it to the Caterpillar. And it has clearly got modules that were originally, like medical was talked about on the Caterpillar ages ago, right?
Yeah.
And Algared and I will tell you, we as you've got refining on the Galaxy, we half expect to have Salvage or something like that on the Caterpillar. So when the Caterpillar comes out, it'll just be like the Galaxy in a different form.
Yeah.
So
and what really did that for us in terms of the Galaxy versus Caterpillar is when you looked at the Galaxy's cargo form, it was exactly the same as the Caterpillar's cargo capacity. So you went,
Yeah.
So it's just an RSI version of a Caterpillar.
Yep, basically.
Wolf Blitzer. Probably asked before, but what one or two things are you excited about to experience at CitizenCon? We just answered that, so I'll just move on. Basically, we're expecting CitizenCon and meeting people. Billionaire Ninja. What 3 things are required for you to feel like CitizenCon was a total success?
What 3 things was required was a total success? I don't think you can ever have a total success. It's always got to be positives and negatives. But for me personally, because we're going there, as long as I'm enjoying myself, I think I'll be good.
I think for CitizenCon to be a success for us, since we're going there and we're basically going there to work, for everything to actually work the way we
flawless execution.
for our cameras not to fall apart, for the streaming to work, for the for all those bits and pieces, for all the moving parts we've kind of envisaged and thought of and hoped for to get them fall into place and function. And if we get that at probably 75% of what we're kind of dreaming of, then I think we can say, our excursion to CitizenCon has been a success. Well, the event itself, as long as people enjoy themselves, I think it's going to be a positive. So, Citizen Ninja has a question. Thoughts on the Chairman's Club ship packs? $1,000, 1,100 Vara Splatterfest, and the 1,075 at Drake's Thrillers.
You go first.
Well, it's one way to get those ships with LTI. There are cheaper ways to get all the ships, though. Buy the skins, melt them.
My turn?
Yep.
Don't buy packs!
Yep. There would have to be a very, very special situation where getting those packs would be valuable. Volta Undas, father and son playing games. What do you think about the prize? While we know it's more than 1.5 day convention, than a full day convention.
Well, one's 9 to 9, so that's more than...
What do you think about the size?
Well, one's 9 to 9, so that's 12 hours, and the other one is from 9 to 2, so it's only 2.5 hours short of a full day, but the other day is 4 hours longer. So if you kind of chop it up, it's more than 2 8-hour days. So...
And then if you go to the Atmo eSport...
that goes to 11 p.m.
You kind of got enough, so...
So, there's more than enough.
Will I have the energy for the Atmo eSports event? If everything goes the way we hope, probably not.
I think we will know by the Wednesday or Thursday whether this is going to work or not, though, because we're going to be testing it beforehand, and if that doesn't work, we're going to fall back to like mobile phones and shit like that. We've got backups and stuff like that, but again, it just added cost on top of what we've already. So we'll put it this way: if it doesn't work, I'm going to want my damn, was it £300 for the internet? It was basically 6 months worth of Australian internet for essentially what was 2 days. It was insane. We were charged through the teeth. It was insane. So, to get
a hardwired UBU guaranteed flawless internet, which wasn't shared, which was the big thing, because on the floor, everyone's internet is going to be shared. So everyone trying to stream is going to be done. So but what I think about the size, I think just like you said, it's going to be more than enough, I hope.
Yep.
Robert JT says, thoughts on the misfortune and the rumour it began a vulture competitor rather than a step up.
Yeah, well, we have a bit of information that other people don't have. It's actually smaller than the vulture. A lot of people assume it's bigger, but it's not. It's smaller from what was found in the code. But again, we've got an episode coming. It's recorded because we've got to record them before Algared left. But it'll be out Tuesday, our time, so usual time. Yeah.
So look forward to that. We do have a particular take on it. We think, it makes sense.
And I just so you know, John Citizen and Pissball Pete actually went through, because it dropped. There was a big information drop, and I couldn't sleep because it was like 11 p.m. at night. And we talk about it in the episode, but Algared was just cooked because it was right after we'd done an episode. And I called him straight back. I said, dude, I just found all this shit. I stayed up to 5 a.m. with Pissball Pete, and so for like 5.5 hours with Pissball Pete and John Citizen, just speculating backwards and forwards and going all over. And then I did it again with Algared, and then me and Algared recorded the episode. So
yeah, I think with that. Must have been Tuesday night because I think I had the procedure on a Wednesday, and I'd have been.
Yeah, it was Wednesday evening we recorded it. So
yeah. So Jonas Morrissey says thoughts on the Corsair nerf. I believe we've talked about it.
Might have even been the same person. Yeah, if your question, just a reminder, guys, just ask your question once. The bot will more than likely pick it up, and we've only got to answer it once. Otherwise, you just got to skip your question. Anyway.
Lena Maria, given the conversation around the Corsair nerf, are there any other ships you think need similar nerfs? I've often argued that ships like the Corsair, the Connie, and any of those ships where the main firepower is controlled by the pilot and the gunners have small turrets, almost need a reversal of that. Because you want to promote that gameplay. So in that regard, I'd argue the Connie needs a similar type of nerf, where bring the guns down to maybe size 4 and increase the turret guns up to size 4s. I don't know.
I know one. The Vanguard. Exactly on what you were just talking about. Because that gun is, it's shit. Gladiator could probably use it a bit as well. I'd rather have more main guns on the Gladiator, on the turret gunner than on the pilot, because again, then you can shoot behind, and it promotes that teamwork that you and I talk about on the Hurricane all the time. I think a lot of the ships, once armor comes in, and they did mention armor in that ISC just casually, like it was nothing. Which was just kind of weird for them to go, oh yeah, by the way, armor's coming.
Well, you remember,
it's going to change.
It's
going to change. All of how many of the ships almost look identical on paper, and then you bring that in, it's like just changes it completely.
It's where Drake ships will no longer, where that armor comparison with Drake ships supposedly having less armor than other ships of their size or class. Doesn't say that,
Let's take it back to the Corsair we were just talking about. All of a sudden, that don't look so bad. All of a sudden, it looks like it's got more guns than everyone else. Well, that's why. Because it's not going to have the armor to match, and it's a giant flying target because of the huge-ass wings.
It's more nimble than the other ships of size because it's got less armor. So all those balances come out. The Connies look like sluggish. Yeah, that's okay, but they're heavily armored, so they can take more beatings. So it'll all wash it.
What did they call it in World War II when they had the battleships and they took the armor off because it was cheaper to make them? What was and they could only take 1 or 2 hits, but they were just so much far. They were essentially glass cannons. You know the names because you were into the ships. You know what I'm talking about? Where they had the dreadnoughts or something that were the armored ones, and then they had the battle cruisers or something that was without the armor.
Battle cruisers pretended to be ones built without the armor belt, so they increased speed. So I think the Admiral Hipper was one of those. I think the lucky ship, German Navy, I can't remember, but one of our other battleships was also one that had been stripped out of its armor belt to increase its speed, and were deadly. They were made as commerce rated almost, but they were almost a separate class in themselves. So, and I think that's what we see with Drake ships. They are heavy gunned, and they may have a speed, but they don't have the armor, and so you get a couple of hits on them, and they start to fall apart. But that's not to say,
as we've said in the past too, when you under armor something and up gun it something, what does that do? It naturally pushes you to be the aggressor. So as a pirate, it people are going to know that you've got more guns. And so it just makes things more standoffish straight away. And they, so it's got this tension thing going there. You see a Drake ship and you're just going to go pirate. Got to fire my guns. Like it's going to set things off. It's that whole psychological warfare thing.
I've either got to fight now and get the alpha strike in before he hits me, or run.
What the hell is wrong with this? So many people going along going, "Ooh, nice shirt." Either they generally like it or they're taking the piss out of you. I haven't decided what they're doing yet, but yeah.
Oh, I like it. It's it is actually different. More green than gold, but it is a batik shirt. Picking up the batik.
Sorry, did you say it's a batik shirt? A buttocks?
B-A. No,
it looks like it was up one. I'll give you that, but that's about it.
BATIK, which is both the style of pattern as well as the art form, which is basically the national dress of Indonesia, and art of Indonesia is batik. And so you'll find if you see the Indonesian president dressed in a 3-piece suit, he's actually making concessions for the Europeans who he's meeting with. If they're doing anything formal in Indonesia, they'll generally wear a batik shirt and black trousers and shoes.
I have to correct Luna Marie in chat. Nobody knew that the Galaxy was for base building until they showed us at CitizenCon. No, that is not true. They said other modules coming in the future on the concept sale page, and one of them listed was manufacturing. We knew as soon as it came out the year before at CitizenCon. So that's not right, Luna Marie. So, that's how we knew about it, because it said other modules, most likely manufacturing. I could probably go find it and pull it up if I had to, if it still exists or it hasn't been changed.
That other modules, including base building, but was put with the Galaxy, was one of the things that certainly made us take the line that that's base building. Yeah. And they've talked about base building things in the past, but up until that point, we hadn't really seen manufacturing or base building. So,
here, look, I found it.
Yeah.
Other modules, manufacturing, and other modules coming at a later date. And I've probably zoomed in too much there, but that's what it actually looked like. And that's why it's grayed out, because it said manufacturing and other modules coming soon. And this is on the date that this dropped, and it probably doesn't have a date on it now. But this is the original, this is the CitizenCon before last year's, so 2 years ago.
Yeah. Now, did that necessarily say base building? No, but then when they started talking base building and the process of base building, you went, what do you need? You need a manufacturing plant.
Yeah.
And so, even at that point, we were, right from the beginning, I think we always thought it was outlined. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, when it said manufacturing, we were like, wait, hang on. Well, it's because you and I heard about how the Pioneer had become manufacturing, and we went, that can't be a coincidence. And so what I think you've done, Luna Maria, is you've seen manufacturing and not realised it's base building, where we and others probably have. So now I understand.
And the only reason we understood that is because we picked up that the Pioneer had been moved from being talked about as being a base builder to being a manufacturing plant. And once you do that, that opens up it opens up what the Pioneer can do. It's not just a builder of buildings, it's manufacturing.
Well, they mentioned the Pioneer
into other areas.
They mentioned both the Pioneer and the RSI can do manufacturing and fabrication. Where manufacturing, I can't remember which one was which, but one makes the buildings and one makes the things that go inside buildings and like even ships and stuff like that. So again, there wasn't a hop, skip, and a gush for us. But again, you got to remember we're collecting all this information, storing a lot of stuff in our heads, and remembering things, and doing it between all the people we talk to, the other Inforunners boys, blah blah blah. Like we've been doing this for 10 years, so.
And we never do it in a vacuum by ourselves. So which is a huge help. Like I got to admit, a number of times we bounce ideas off, and sometimes even tours will have got some ideas, and someone else will come in and say, "Have you considered?" And it's like, you know.
The only reason I said that is people try to correct me, and you're going to correct me, I'm going to fact check you. I want you to fact check me 100%. But if you're wrong, I'm going to tell you you're wrong. And that's the way it goes. So if you put yourself out there to correct me, expect to be corrected if you're wrong. But if you're right, I will go check and I'll apologize and say, yeah, I was wrong. Thank you for correcting me. But this is not about who's right or wrong, right? It's about the truth. I'll leave it at that. I don't care who's right, who's wrong. As long as we get to the truth, because we want to be as factual as possible, so we're all got the correct information moving forward. I think you would agree with that, Algared.
I think we'll often take a position or a line based on what we've understood from our years of watching and gathering information and talking with other people who are into delving deep into lore as we are. But we also forget things. So sometimes we'll say stuff and someone will say something. And so we'll check that.
We get stuff wrong all the time. What are you talking about, people? Pissball Pete's saying that you can't wear your vests anymore. You got to wear that all the time now, is what he's saying in short. He didn't say that exactly. He said, we need more casual hour. That shirt is top tier. So, yeah. No more vests, I think.
Oh, this is actually formal attire.
Yeah.
It's Indonesian formal attire. It's... You know, so I'll just leave it there.
Just so you guys know, from the legs down, it's all hula skirt. You know, you
no shorts actually.
I'm teasing.
I've got the temperature jacked down to what, I think 18 degrees, and it still feels. I don't think it's got there. I don't think the air conditioner's been off.
Yeah.
It's just it was 30 degrees and very humid yesterday.
Oh yeah, it's very humid there.
And the smoke. I find that Indonesia is always very smoky. Not like not smog like car, but bushfire, wood burning smoke.
Yeah, well, they burn a lot of stuff off for the incense and all the temple stuff as well.
In Bali they do, but the rest
not here.
In most other places they don't. So not in Jakarta, because Jakarta, Bali is the different face centric. So, but yeah, I find the smoke actually aggravates my cough as well, which enjoy. Jag Mason has a question. Do you think the Zeus MR owners will get a Zeus loaner of some kind, or will it be stuck with a cutlass?
Yeah,
usually what happens?
It'll be the closest. I was going to say it'll be the closest one to it in cost. So if they release a Zeus ST, you might actually get the Zeus ST as a loaner.
I'll just play my play button, because that was exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah. Okay. Well, great minds think alike, mate. So yeah.
Oh well, we've it's not our first rodeo and going through loaners.
Yeah, true.
You know, we know that when ships come out, they do upgrade the loaner list, and usually they give you a ship that does the job that's closest to it. So. Steve Brown says, question, are you looking forward to taking out a Polaris for a flight?
Yep, very much so. And just seeing how much team coordination is required to pull it off, because I think it's going to be, how would you put it? Up until now, we've kind of had turrets. Now you've got turrets, torpedoes, and, all the other coordinated things to pull that off. Like, we can actually start to see a bit of captainage, I think, now. More than we've seen before. Do you know what I mean? Like, and it's going to only become more and more as more MFDs come in, and the engineering kicks off and stuff like that. So it's just going to be interesting to see all the every time a new system comes in, it's interesting, and torpedoes just adds another thing to it, I think. Yeah.
It was interesting when they were doing the MFDs when the armor was showing up as on the MFDs as a ship system. So that also implies that I'm assuming that if we had EVA, we could actually go out and do some repair of stuff. So,
and that'll also be interesting as repair, and that comes in on the hangar as well, and the refueling part of that as well.
Sorry if the camera moves, guys. I do have face tracking, so if it's often if I stretch it, kind of, or move forward, it kind of refocuses and changes. So
no, it's been good, really.
And it shows I'm alive. I'm not just sitting there still.
It's kept you very centered. It's been quite good. Right, next question. Geronimo, who says, any thoughts on the new sneak peek? We went over that. Argo CSV. It was actually a question I saw the first time that prompted it. So yeah. Destroy. You looking for some advice? I'm buying. Oh wait, just looking for some advice. I am buying a carrot during IAE this year. Any alternative recommendations for Star Trek-ish exploration multi-crew experiences for me and my org mates? Well, straight off the bat, I would say buy an LTI token. So what was the Atlas or something like that, and sit on it, and then try and buy as many. Like you could pick up a CCU to the carrot right now, but it's obviously going to be available at AIE again anyway. But you want to buy as many Warbond CCUs as you can to bring that price down. And if you buy enough of them between the start of AIE and the end, if you choose the right ones, and generally, I'm going to be honestly, generally, if you want to save the most money, you'll only get 2 out of the first week slot that come out. But all the ones that are available in the end, generally, you can save like $200, right? Not always, right? And it's got worse as time's gone on because they've made less and less savings on the CCUs, or upgrades, as we now have to call them. So we're all going to go back to what it should have been from the beginning. But you'd agree with that, Algared, though, wouldn't you? You know, don't buy it outright. Try and save $200 if you can.
Yeah, and the other thing with those CCUs, when you're doing ships with CCUs, if you've melted something for it, you use those CCUs to actually fill in any of the gaps that you don't have Warbond for. I'm going to take a slightly different hint because you do ask any other recommendations for a Star Trek-ish style exploration vessel.
I should have gone into recommendations, but yeah, go ahead.
And I always thought, and one of the reasons I wanted
Odyssey?
Idris.
No, Idris, right.
No, an Idris. Because when I first started, there was no Odyssey. The character was only, I think it was called something else at that point. But I wanted to do Star Trekking, and I wanted to have a ship that had the crew side, so you had that sense of Star Trek. The NPCs were my red shirts. They were the wings. The ship, the ones that would enable friends to actually Agent Smith into the ship and help out. It had its hangar, so yes, the hangar was too big to do the shuttles, but it kind of gave you that multiple ship ability. It had the medical. It had all the functions that you'd hope would be on a deep space explorer. But that was always my first thought for the Idris was not as a combat ship, but as a deep space multi-crew explorer.
So Pissed Off Pete or Piss Poor Pete is asking, is Al trying out the mobile broadcasting thing you guys have been setting up for at CitizenCon, or is just the hotel Wi-Fi laptop? So he's on the camera that we're going to use on the day, but he's got it sitting in front of him like a webcam, but he's also using the Wi-Fi at his hotel. So it's the same camera, so it'll be that level of quality, and it'll be that type of sound. But he's on a lapel mic, not the actual.
Yep. So I
still think the mics are better than the lapels, personally. Just the little. Yeah. So maybe even you should just try unpulling the lapel and see if the quality goes up.
Well, I don't think it does. Like the lapel quality enables the mic to be always there.
Yeah, but the mic itself, the physical mic in that, is not as good as the one that's in that because it's bigger. The little ones, even though they're both small, it's twice the size as the Livier mic. I tested them, and I noticeably think the other ones. Now it's probably...
Well, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It sounds better to me. I'm not hearing all the fans and shit behind you now.
Okay. So this has got the noise cancelling aspect on it, whereas the lapel mic...
Well, I don't know. You let us know, chat. Now he's unplugged that. Does it sound better than before?
So unplug the lapel mic.
Because to me, all the sounds
the mic up
disappeared.
to here.
Yeah, I had all I could hear was blaring fans and shit. So, yeah.
Oh, you should have told me. I could have turned the AC off.
Yeah, but then you'll be sweating balls. No, I don't want you to do that. Yeah, it's much better.
Maybe not, because it is.
So chat's saying
it's still.
Chat's saying it's better than before.
Okay, it is. It may not have been as hot because it is. 5:19. So for me to stream this morning, it was a 3 a.m.
And if you don't want to clip it onto your shirt, Algared, there's the little magnets that come with it, so you can actually magnetize it somewhere on your shirt as well. So, yeah.
But I don't have a magnet with me at the moment.
Oh, well, that's silly. I brought my well, I haven't left home, but my magnets fit in the box, so I'm bringing those as well. So
yes, but
and did you bring your little fuzzy thing? You bring the little fuzzy thing?
Oh yeah, a little fuzzy thing there. Yeah.
Yeah. That also helps with
a little wind sock.
Yeah, that helps with wind and stuff as well. So yeah, cool. But yeah, that's the sound that you can expect. But essentially, what Algared's wearing on his little clip there, they slot into the top of our microphones. I'll grab one real quick for those of you that haven't seen. Destroying the illusion. So I got 2 of these, one for Algared, one for me. So we can look like sportscasters. And Algared's little thing will go in the top here. And then you put the little foam thing back on it, and we go, so, Mr. Roberts, why do you feel Squadron 42 was a success? And you, like that. Anyway.
Yeah, so the blue thing is the windshield, so hopefully that would mean you wouldn't be getting any of the wind blowing over it and causing grief. But one of the things we were doing with the lapel mic today was literally trying to see the difference in quality and everything else.
Yeah. So yes, there was reverb on the first mic. It did have better quality, but you'll notice that all the background noises completely disappeared, so it's easy to hear him, right? And you got to realize not everyone is watching. Some people watch this after the fact as well. But again, again, it's going to be something me and Al would have to look at is the compression and stuff like that. But lapel mics generally are much better in a visual medium when you want to hide the actual microphone. And again, that's why we did this. Because we just make it front and center, and the little tiny thing is hidden. And like, other than you guys that have seen it, would you be able to tell if this wasn't a normal? You just think it was a normal microphone. You wouldn't even think anything on it unless I didn't tell you. So, yeah, I think these will be fine. And again, I made them in blues, so they stand out. They got our stuff all over it. I just wish we had one for Paul now. I wish I'd made. We only did this in the last couple of weeks, but I would have had Astropub Inforunners type thing all the way around it, but modified. But I don't have time now. I'm out of time.
It's one of the things we talked about in the last 3 or 4 days, but it was too late to do the printing of that. But,
Mum, hey, Mum said even Mum said you sound better, Algared. Hey, Mum, what do you think about Algared's shirt? Is it good or bad? He's getting lots of compliments. We don't know if he's being trolled or not. It's efficient Indonesian attire, Mum. He wants to know. Mum will say it's good. I know what she's like. She'll just say anything's good. It could be the worst thing in the world. She said it was good. But that's just what she's like. So yeah.
That's what mums are like.
Yeah.
And while we're getting that, Destroy says, question. Just like that's the one we just did.
Yep.
The original idiot. Are you guys coming to CitizenCon? Yes, we are.
Yes, we are. Algared's already on his way, so to speak. He's a third of the way there.
I've started the first leg. Yep.
And I will beat him there. He is the tortoise. I am the hare.
But I'm taking a detour to do language enhancement and improve my Indonesian. And also do cultural visits, and they'll be, so that helps with the fact that I'm a language teacher of Indonesian. And then I will, after 2 weeks here, I'll be coming off to Manchester, and I'll arrive on the 15th. So yeah. Mega Tiger Ninjas says, is the political unrest causing you guys any concerns for the trip?
Is he talking about the political unrest in UK?
Is there political unrest in UK?
They were having like riots and stuff about immigration was the last thing I kind of heard. There's some people
okay.
annoyed about it's a similar thing to what's happening here. Like there's people blaming things and like different things. I don't know. You know how I feel about
Uh,
political stuff. I think it's just all governments
the
keeping
only
us
thing I'd really
distracted.
seen,
Yeah.
the only thing I'd really seen was, stuff on the bombing of Israel and Israel's retaliation, and
Well, that's in a different
um,
country, so I don't think that's gonna.
uh,
Yeah.
and just that wider context of
Yeah.
the escalations getting wider and stuff. But
Mm.
no, I hadn't really considered.
What's the worst case scenario? We have
Uh,
an extended holiday in. I'm kidding. I'm
yeah,
kidding. Yeah. 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 Right.
I could think of worst case scenarios, but it wouldn't really bother me because I've often said, I know where I'm headed.
Well, I'd like to see the
So,
Englishman that pulls a knife on an Australian. That's not a knife.
yeah.
Anyway. Kiss
Rum runner.
my no. Oh, Rum Runner.
No,
Awesome T-shirt, Algared. Do you see CIG introducing quantum interdiction restrictions based on the size of ships? E.g., will a Mantis be able to pull out a Polaris, and will you need a Fat Fury? So yeah, it's something we thought about a fair bit, but it really comes down to gameplay, right? And let's be honest, think about when the Mantis came in, it was so hard for any of that stuff to even work. Like me and Algared were deliberately trying to pull each other out, and we couldn't get it to work, right? You remember that, Algared? What was it, about 3 hours we spent at it?
Yeah,
Not once.
yeah. Multiple times we tried. I'm going now.
Yep.
No.
Yeah, and we realized,
Going now.
yeah,
No.
cart before the horse type thing. And again, once it comes in, then maybe they'll rebalance, rejig it. So they've also talked about bigger ships, like the capital ships, also having quantum addiction, so things couldn't get away. So until we see that come in, we don't know the full picture. So just kind of let it stew, let it come into the game, and then see what it is, and then put your complaints in, right? And it's the same thing like we're saying with master modes. Master modes is not fully in yet, and people are claiming the sky has fallen, even though they said they were going to do it
I'm
for
losing
years.
this scrap.
Yeah, they just.
Yeah.
It's almost like that resistant to change thing you see old people have, and we're all that way naturally. I think for me, it's let them have a crack at it at least before you complain. So yeah.
Yep. No, I think the biggest master modes change I saw of it was a concern was the other day when I think you or someone was flying a ship, and the top SCM speed in nav mode was like 20 meters a second faster than what you're able to get. So it reduced the speed of the ship in nav mode. I was just saying that the only thing that concerned me lately was that ship you were flying the other day where the speed had been really reduced in nav mode, and so it was taking forever to get there. But that's just part of balancing.
I'm muted as
Can't hear you muted.
Yeah. I actually ended up going out with Pisswell Pete after we talked about that, and PC 101 was telling me it's a bug, and then I went back into the game while I was on stream with them, and it was a bug because you could rebind some keys. Now it wasn't that much faster. It was only by about another 100 ms. So, but the scale on the Spirit had previously been locked at 300, and the ship went to about 400. But the speed limiter was increased to like 1,131, which was back to almost like what it was. So, I think it's partially changes are being made. Some of the stuff's bugged. So until we actually know what the final speeds are going to land at, again, steps on the way to getting to where they want it to go. So it's just teething issues, as you and I would probably call it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that takes us to Kiss My W.
Yep.
Says with references to all the Zeus models being found in 24.2 game files, what do you think of the chances that there are Zeus models will be on sale at CitCon or IA? 100%. At CitCon or IA, 102. You don't want to add any more to that, do you?
I don't want to get too hopeful, but like maybe it was always a surprise all along. Maybe they, the only one that would be a bit weird in that case would be the MR, because they've said the MR is going to come at a later date because of bounty hunting. But again, looking at what you and I did on the episode about AI, and then looking at the Zeus STs in the files, and then thinking about the E1, if it's not the Zeus, if it's not a concept for the Zeus ST, I don't know. I'm hopeful. Fingers crossed type of thing. But it's so close now that I don't want to even speculate anymore. I just kind of want to like, give it to me.
Here's another aspect in terms of our AI prisoners. You know, AI bounties where they actually surrender and you put them in the holding cells. You know, it's conceivable. But, yeah, so it's possible. But within CitizenCon IA, yeah, I think we'll see. Soren, Tutu, and Yogi.
Thank you for the raid, Fierce there. I didn't know. Sorry, man. We're not used to Twitch yet.
Awesome.
Yeah, thank you for the raid, bud. Appreciate it.
Yeah, it's always nice to be raided by people. Thank you. Sorry.
Ooh, Algared, you're breaking up real bad. Say that again.
How does capital radar work better than smaller size radar? Is it just a range but works better?
Oh, capital radar. I thought you were saying raider, like Cylon radar. Basically it costs more power and stuff like that, but it goes further. I remember there was a man, I'd have to go back to find where it was, but remember where it showed the Terrapin versus the Polaris, and the Polaris was like 5 times as big as the Terrapin type of thing. But yeah, again, you get what you pay for. Like, again, do the math. Why the hell would a solo player ship ever be able to contend with a ship that literally has like 8 to 10 people on it, like it was back then? I can't remember what the final is now. But you get my point, right? Like, you get what you pay for. Like, it just
and certain ships will be better at certain jobs. So Terrapin is going to be great at going forward, shutting down basically everything that almost be invisible, and then using its passive radar to see far ahead.
That's it. But also, by the same token, a Polaris is going to be so much easier to see, like a literal flying Christmas tree compared to the Terrapin.
Exactly. Whereas you try and do the same thing with a Polaris, just because it's bigger mass, it's going to have such a bigger signal. So, yeah, it's not really an issue of the size of a ship or the size of the component. It's also that is a key part. But you're also going to have elements where that's a radar that's keyed for salvage or keyed for mining or keyed for looking for something else. And so those scanner suites are going to have an influence as well. So.
Yeah.
Next question.
Someone just said, because I said Polaris Christmas tree, they've said Polaris Christmas tree paint when? Because it's shaped like a Christmas tree. That'd actually be pretty funny, actually. A Polaris Christmas tree skin. I didn't mean it to be like that, but now I kind of think of it, it's pretty funny. Next one was Destroy, who says, I don't think that's tailored at us, so that's fine. Fox Creative Gateim, do you think the Mist Starlancer has a replacement for the Mist Freelancer, like the Hornet Mark II ships as a replacement for the Mark II Hornet? No, based on what we've seen, it's Connie-sized. I think, to answer your question in short.
Yep. You can shrink my scene as well.
Oh, sorry, my bad.
If you want.
I forgot I left it there because I was looking up. The Glass Sword question, joke question. Looks like the Zeus ST is a touring passenger ship. How many sodas does Execute owe those who bet him wrong? I don't think I ever promised sodas. But yeah. Again, I'm wrong. That's fine. Mega
Tiger Ninja.
Yeah, no, that's comment. No, yeah, so I'm confused. SA. Oh, SA's back. All right. Hey, just hope popping on. Can you recap what's been dropped in like 10 seconds? There were lots of questions, and we answered a lot of them, if not all of them. Does that recap in 10 seconds? I think so.
We talked.
Yeah.
We talked travel, Star Citizen, shirts, and questions.
Yeah, and then we did a bit of, we talked about the Halloween stuff, and we talked a little bit about CitizenCon layout, and as Algared said,
But that was took us a lot longer than 10 seconds to do that.
Yeah.
Jag Hiroshi says, Crucible surprise delivery. It would be nice.
I'm going to be
But,
honest. If there's a surprise ship that they haven't somehow leaked in the files, the only one that I could ever see being a surprise would literally be the Liberator. And the reason for that is ships that don't, because in Evocati at the moment they've added, so you have liveries and system, they've added one in the middle called propulsion, and it has jump drives, because there will be ships that don't have jump drives and therefore they can't get to Pyro. And if they can't get to Pyro, how are they going to get there?
Yep.
So
No,
unless they give
I
all
just
ships
wouldn't see
jump
that being-
drives for now, just so they can get to Pyro, that which would be the easier fix, to be honest with you. But yeah, I'm again massive bit of copium if we're going to get the Liberator, massive, absolutely massive.
And if you look at the ships we've got in game that have hangars, but we've got the Carrot that can take snubs, we've got the 890 that can take snubs and size. A few bigger ships. We've got the Hercules. We've got. I think they're really the main ships that have got for carrying at the moment.
Yep.
So there are other means, but yeah, I think there'll be ways to get there if we don't. And I think that the Liberator is going to be a perfect choice to fill in if that's a surprise. But yeah. Jock Crop. You guys were a little down on the That's been already done.
Arcane Danger.
Yep.
Arcane Danger says, question, given the history, is there a chance for an upcoming referral bonus? Well, there's usually one around AIE, isn't there, Algared, or early December. I don't think you'd see the Atlas, but what was the last? We might see the Pulse as one. What do you reckon?
Pulse, yeah.
Yeah, and then 6 months after that, might see the Atlas. So, yeah, fingers crossed. But you'll definitely see the Atlas or the Pulse at some point. It's just how far down the line they kick it. So yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah.
The last one was, I think that's not a comment. That's just a question.
All right, my bad.
A comment, not a question. Black Mage says, "I love the idea of the Ironclad. I only really mean to do hauling to make cash. I don't like the whole series because of the way it holds its cargo. Is there a better option than the Ironclad? What's the cargo capacity of the Ironclad?"
I'd have to go back and look. It's been a hot minute. I've forgotten. I haven't looked at it since Invictus. But the Ironclad's real strength is going to be for pirates as like a dump bucket. The whole roof kind of opens. You can literally put a ship in there if you have to, whatever you want to dump. And pirates are going to need good cargo operators. Now, it's kind of like a bit of a flying, like an area for the pirates to also store their loot. So it's taking a bit away from what the Caterpillar was originally meant to do. And we've seen that over time too. Like the Kraken evolved out of Caterpillar. It's really obvious. The Caterpillar was meant to be the mothership. Now the Kraken's the mothership. It was meant to be the place that the Buccaneers and the combat ships, the Cutlasses, return to. Well, now that's the Kraken, or they return their loot to the Ironclad. So we're seeing this diversifying or even cutting up of the galaxy. The Caterpillar, because now we've also got the Galaxy coming along. So yeah. You got the SCU for the Galaxy. Did you end up getting the SCU for the Ironclad?
Did I end up? No.
I'll do it for you. 1,536. So roughly, I'm being very rough when I say this because I think it's 575 off the top of my head for the Caterpillar. So it's like 3 times or 2.5. Yeah, double. Yeah.
Double the Caterpillar.
2.5. So yeah.
Based on that, I can't think of too many ships that do that offhand. Hull series.
He doesn't like the whole series. You said that.
Doesn't like the whole series. The other ships that could do the job, I imagine, are Hercules.
Yeah.
I like the Connie, even though it's significant. The Connie Taurus, even though it's significantly less, it's only 195.
Yeah.
So if you're looking at mass cargo,
do you know where I'm going? That in Merchantman.
Yeah, but it's not out yet. But that'd be certainly the.
I'll check the SCU.
If you want to be a hauler and you don't like the whole series because it's external storage, Battery Merchantman is by far, I think, the best option. Internal storage, shops, garage, big guns,
Well, you can
Not
sell
a lot about that.
you can sell what you have on board as well. So wherever you collect it, you're also the shop. So you're cutting out a middleman, so to speak. It's 2,880 SCU according to the wiki. That's 3 times as much as the Ironclad. But do the math. It's what 400 and God, I forgot the price now. It was like, wasn't it 420 and 4? Oh god damn it, I've forgotten. It's 400 and something.
Again, I can't remember it.
Yeah, we haven't talked about the Ironclad in a hot minute. It kind of came and went for us because it was a middle ship. Hang on, Ironclad.
And I keep remembering the price of the Banner Merchantman as around $350. So
yeah.
So when I look at the Ironclad target capacity versus the Banner Merchantman, I'm always saying, well, no,
Yeah.
it doesn't
So-
match up. It's not good.
So it was 450 standalone, and I think it was 485. So it was 435 and 400 at Warbond. So again, at standalone price of 450, you're talking $200, and you basically almost double the cargo again. Plus, you get all the shops. Plus, you get a luxury ship. You get all the guns and stuff that come with it as well, and it's essentially a capital ship versus a large. So yeah, I'm hearing Merchantman. If you're going to spend that money on an Ironclad, why wouldn't you just go that one little? And yes, I know you're essentially paying a third more. Up to you, bro. I'll put it back. You asked for recommendations. That I think that would be it, wouldn't it, Algared? A Merchantman over it instead of an Ironclad, if he doesn't like the priority stuff.
If you don't like the priorities, look. If you don't like the hull, then yeah, the Merchantman is certainly a good choice. And I'm sure if you looked around, you could probably still find versions of a Merchantman.
Kraken's like 1,800. From what I remember, so it's like 400 more than the Ironclad, but like 1,000 less than the Banner Merchantman. So yeah.
Yep. Just gonna find my questions again.
Yep.
I'm gonna suggest what's the time.
Sorry, I'm thinking of Kraken Privateer is what I'm thinking of. We've got half an hour, Algared. It's fine.
My watch says it's 5:45.
Yeah, nice and early. We've only been going. We haven't even started yet, Algared. We've got to start in 15 minutes time.
And I'm losing it.
We got 20 minutes. We're good. We got 20 minutes. But you got to remember, we started 15 minutes late too.
True.
So technically, we've got 35 minutes to go, type of thing.
Okay. So Black Magic says, "I love the idea of the Ironclad. I only wish." That's the one I just did. Sorry.
Yep.
Mega Tiger Ninja. Do you think they will push through Squadron 42 with just something that flies for it, and not worry about the PU flight model until later?
Again, single player versus multiplayer, you can kind of get away with a lot of things not being exactly right because it's very one-sided. It's just got to feel right for the pilot, not feel like no one gives a shit about the AI. It's just going to die. It's just got to feel right for the player. They're very different systems and very different type of games. So yeah, again, like we said earlier, there's no base building in Squadron, but it's like a core pillar of Star Citizen. So yeah.
I am noticing some of the challenges that people have. The hotel internet is now being impacted.
What is they're waking up?
Other tenants. Yeah, you're
I'm starting to break up.
A bit.
Yeah. All right. Well, if you drop out, we'll know why.
So if I drop out, you know what's happened. But I imagine that's what would happen if we were just using Wi-Fi on the floor of the
at CitizenCon. Again,
conference.
We'll do the tests and find out how it goes. So yeah.
In answer to Mega Tiger Ninja's question, one of the things that I come back to again is that AI article. And that last question, because is the AI going to be the same in the PU? And he said, well, yes and no. It's that stuff that's not there at the moment is because the stuff from the PU, the tools or the objects that they interact with, aren't in yet. Yeah. It's not a matter of it not working. It's just a matter of the game loop hasn't been developed.
Yeah.
Or the usables aren't there, and so they're not going to. Those characters aren't going to be there, or those NPC styles aren't going to be there. But the impression I got is they can actually port them across straight away, and so the delay is going to be putting in the usables or putting in the game loops. And so I think Squadron 42 will just do it when it's ready, and the PU stuff will just again be done when it's ready and be ported across when it's ready. So, Citizen Scott, you think this component style armor is a long-term solution that indicates Maelstrom could be soon, or a stopgap that need because Maelstrom is a long way out?
Yeah, I don't know. We've often hoped that you'd be able to switch armor and stuff, didn't we, Algared? And knowing that it's kind of like a texturized normal map now, there's no reason that you couldn't have different styles for different manufacturers and stuff like that. But we'd only ever be kind of speculating at that for the moment.
So, and even when I said, "Hey, it's on the component things," which means we could repair it, that was speculation, but pure speculation on my part.
Yeah,
it could just be that bar tells you, "Oh yeah, my armor's really up a creek. I really need to go to port and get it fixed, or take it off and replace it with a new set."
Yeah.
We have no idea how it's going, but certainly being in the component system really does indicate that.
I think it might be a part of the repair system, and I think that you know, from what you and I have talked about, we've kind of speculated that you could literally blow it off like armor, like ballistic armor, and it breaks off, almost like. And the way we explained it, and I think you agreed with me at the time, was lasers are to shields as ballistics is to armor, meaning that lasers are more resistant to shields because they can't penetrate them, but ballistics completely can penetrate well, not completely, but they can go through shields, but then they hit the armor, but the armor is limited like ballistics is limited. And I've just completely lost you off camera, Algared. Are you still there?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I'm still hearing voice, I hope.
Yep. Did the Wi-Fi
the Wi-Fi says it's still going, but I'm thinking it's just tanking because
might be Ninja. So what I'm thinking is, were you streaming in 1080p? What was the camera set to, Algared?
That it's normal standing, so.
No, so that would have been 1080. Well, the other thing I was going to say is maybe just try. Well, I was going to say if you can turn it down lower, but you probably can't. So I was going to say doing the Wi-Fi, doing the webcam on the laptop will be no different if they're both 1080. So yeah, and I don't think you can turn it lower on that camera. 1080 is the lowest, unless you want to just try one more time or try the laptop webcam. That's all I can suggest.
I could go. Let's try that for the. I could go balance and smooth and cool.
All right, try that then.
So, try that.
I'll do the next question while you're doing that, if that's all right.
Yep.
Hennypeg says, the Zeus CL may be the hauler everyone wants, but the Zeus ST is a cutty back replacement. I think he means black, but no. So what me and Algared found when we sat there and analysed the Zeus at the end of last year after the sale was that it was clearly there is no base variant. There's a base Spirit, there's a base Freelancer, and there's a base Cutty, which is the black. But there is no base Zeus. There is only the ES, which is equivalent to the DIR, which is the Freelancer DIR. Then you've got the CL, which is equivalent to the Freelancer Max, and then you've got the MR, which is equivalent to the Cutlass Blue. So, yeah, there's no equivalent base variant. And Algared, you're back. You're a little blurry, but I can see you. But what's your take on that one? Oh, you're gone again.
Yeah, I think it's.
And your mic's changed again. I think it's just totally kicked you off. Try the webcam one and see how that goes. And if that doesn't work, we'll just kick you back to voice. But the mic's changed as well. I can tell the quality's dropped. So I don't know if you're on
to the computer's thing because I think the OBS is.
Yeah. I think you've gone back to the webcam mic because you're really breaking up.
Yeah.
Yep. So again, in Indonesia, dedicated internet connection for next time.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all right. It worked pretty well for until people woke up.
Yeah. Until people got up to do their stuff, it was working great.
Yeah. All right.
But I think that's why. This is one of the reasons why we did go for trying to get the
dedicated Wi-Fi for CitizenCon because we didn't want this to be the experience people had.
Yeah.
But no, I don't think I can get that.
You can't get back? Okay.
No.
I will just turn yours off and I'll go solo Moreno. Right. Next question, please, Algared. Or do you want me to do it? Jag Mason. What is the possibility that they'll show at CitizenCon an AI running taxi passenger service using the Spirit E1 and Zeus between the planets and stations? Yeah, we were reading my mind there a little bit. Yeah, possibly.
I think, yeah, it's enough rope to hang ourselves. It seems possible and feasible based on everything we've seen.
Yep. Agreed.
Jag Mason has another question. Oh, sorry, Jag. Nope. That was the one you just did.
Black Mage is the next one.
Black Mage. I love the idea of the Ironclad. I would like it to do hauling and make cash. I don't like the whole series. I think we've already done that one as well.
Yep.
Sorry for a big question. Thanks, no worries, Black Mage. Piss Poor Pete says, is Al trying out the mobile broadcast? Kind of, sort of.
Yep. Jose says, how much do you think that the price will go up on the Polaris? Well, we did a poll on this, and everyone was pretty much spot on. It was, well, I thought 900, and I think when 900 took it, but it was like 900, 950 in that ballpark is what the poll said. And that was like last week. I think we did that as well. So
yeah. Wolf Blitzer, or different question: if you have a big ship, do you really need another big ship?
All right, you answer that. I've just got to reply to someone.
Yeah, I think when you're looking at the big ships, if they're the same role, then no.
Yeah.
If they're looking at different roles, then yes. Just because the time to earn those ships in game is going to be massive. I think earning down is going to be a lot easier, but earning up, earning across from a capital
we'll
a javelin to a javelin to a kraken, or an interest to a kraken is not exactly going to be an easy walk. But earning down from any of those ships to anything below should be easier.
Yeah.
But,
and I agree wholeheartedly on that one. I think it really comes down to what you can afford too. Like, one of the things we've always kind of said is like sell your fighters. So if you had like 3 smaller ships, so let's say you had a Vulture, a Prospector, and a Terrapin, right, or something like that, right? You'd be almost far better just getting the Reclaimer as an example, and then earning sideways into the Erastra and sideways into the Crucible, or buy one of the other 2 and earn sideways into the others, right? Rather than, or even actual fact, you could earn down back into the single ones, because again, you'll pick them up really quickly. It just, again, it's that whole earn down economy, and you guys can think about every game you've ever played, MMO. If you have the bigger thing and go backwards, it's super quick. Like even in World of Warcraft, if you're level 60 and you went back to a level 20 area, it was like you were killing junk. Like it was just like you just one hit everything and kill it. It's not exactly going to be a 1-to-1 refactor like that, but you'd have to freely admit it's going to be a lot easier than taking a starter ship and trying to like the one from the Reddit, Algared. I should pull that up. I haven't pulled that up in a long time. Do you know the one I'm talking about, Algared? The picture with the this got me this that got me this. You remember that one? Algared? Oh, don't tell me I've lost Algared completely. Algared? Algared, no! I think we lost him. He's dead, Jim. But I was talking about this one, right? This is not my image. This is taken off Reddit though. This, which is a Carrack, brought me this, and this is talking about in game. So he brought that out of game, and it earned him the Carrack, and then it earned him the Retaliator, which earned him the Freelancer, which then earned him the 85X, which M50. Now you try and take that M50 and earn just the Carrack. How long is that going to take? And then reverse it. You do one mission in the Carrack, and you're probably going to have the M50. Yeah, well, he probably died from embarrassment from wearing that shirt. That dub decoy, but yeah, I don't know. I don't make it up. That's just the way the cookie rolls. Obviously, too many of them woken up, and his net connection's gone to shit. And it was the worst thing about being overseas. They just do, like, you think Australian internet's bad, then you go to other places and it's like, yeah. Philippines was shocking when I was there. Like, you could literally it'll be totally cool, and then 10 seconds later it would just drop you out completely. Their net was the most unstable internet I think I've ever seen. It's like they just turned the whole country on, and it was all completely unbalanced, and they didn't have any management whatsoever. So yeah, it was crazy. That is a weird name. A name so long and annoying that annoying to anyone. Question: how does Execute feel about the latest round of leaks? Had the Zeus status and 9 seats, which is rumored now to be a passenger ship like the EL. Talked about this previously, but I think it's kind of cool. And again, if it's, if I said I might be wrong on the racer, and it looks like more and more that I'm going to be wrong on the racing, but eventually we'll probably get anyway because they talked about racing, so as a thing. So we'll see. Oh, you're back, Algared? I heard my own voice, so you must be back. Algared? All right, he's trying to get back on, I think. Kriath 1 question: next modular ship do you expect to get possibly this year? Next modular ship, I don't know. That's a really good question. Still kind of, I'm hopeful. Well, it'd be the Galaxy technically. It's after the Polaris. Correct me if I'm wrong, chat, but that's kind of, yeah. Right. Destroy. It's very silent. I'm in my own head again. There he is. You're back. Hey, you're back. Just cutting out because of the people waking up?
I think so. Yeah, I think because everything cut out, and when I was using the DJI mic, that there, and using that through the camera, when the net camera link died because of the internet, so did the mic, and then the settings were all mucked up, so I had to go through and change those. So
you should. I was going to say for next week, because you're still going to be in Indonesia, maybe go get a mobile SIM and try your phone.
Yeah, it'll certainly be.
And just, or you and I can do a test during the week before I leave. If you get one today, I can do a test with you tomorrow or whatever, over the weekend.
Yeah, but that was, that's part of the reasons why we're streaming while we're away before CitizenCon has also been key, because it enables us to actually do a real solid test of the conditions, what we're likely to have.
Well, that's what we've been saying, haven't we? Like, we'll be doing test streams. So
yeah. Well, one of the things we have been saying as well is, and one of the reasons we looked at getting dedicated connection at Manchester was because we knew that, yes, everyone's got access to a Wi-Fi, but if everyone's trying to access the Wi-Fi at the same time, it dies. And we just saw an example of that. It just...
Well, I think that's more the internet than the equipment, though. I think the equipment's all quite well, considering.
Yeah, the equipment's good, but the ability to access the internet is down due to
agreed.
User.
Yeah. Well, you got to work with what you got, but again, that's why we spent the extra money to try and get a better internet connection there to make sure this doesn't happen, and the mobile phones will be back up and stuff like that. All right. We're down to like less than 10 questions now. So what are we up to? Gega Uglava. Will ships that already have component pass have a new design to accommodate the more smaller shields, etc.? And how do you imagine engineering on ships without component pass? You'd have to assume that most of the engineering is being done on ships that have internals, for one. So a lot of the fighters will probably be the ones that miss out on the first pass, but that's just my kind of... Well, you tell me, Algared, in your book, like, engineering is an inside thing, is it not? Mostly, yeah.
Most engineering is an inside thing, so I would imagine...
Because the engineer is just a single-seat fighter pilot when he gets out,
Yeah. And I think for a single-seat fighter, you're not generally going to be doing repair fly where you're combat. You're going to get out your ship afterwards and do those repairs, or take it back to base, and the ground crew will do repairs. But yeah, I think that kind of goes without saying.
So I just noticed in chat, Citizen Ninja saying, I'm surprised the Galaxy is actually scheduled ahead of the Perseus, since the Galaxy is more complex with its modularity, so I'd expect the Perseus could be more be complicated, more completed more quickly. Well, I think the reason why the Galaxy is coming is base building. I think it is the ship they're going to use because the Pioneer is too big, but also you also get a ship that has every piece of medical in it at the same time. So if you think about it, they can make that and then make the Polo afterwards, because you get tier 1, 2, and 3 beds all in the same room. They don't have to make it as separate modules. And if you think about the module, the Galaxy itself, it's just one room. It's not 2 rooms like an Apollo. So it's just this swap out, swap in mentality. And then you get refineries, which also trickle down to like the Expanse and whatever other refinery ships they make. And then you also get, well, as I said, base building. So yeah, I think it's quite simple, really. And again, if you look at it, it's just a square. Like, they've made it as simply as possible to just get it out, And I think it speaks to what they're trying to do with Star Citizen. Where if you look at the Perseus, what do you really get out of the Perseus? You were correct in your first assumption, is it is easy to implement, but what you're really getting in the Perseus is custom ammo types. Because that's what's coming with that. All the different ammo types that they talked about, like flak and corrosive and whatever else. I can't remember them all now. There's a whole bunch of them. But that is clearly what's coming with the Perseus, because essentially that ship is like a ship that can change its weapons, but it's really just changing the ammo type. But again, all the bullets are ballistic. So once you run out, you're done. So with the Perseus, you are trying to outlast it. Is essentially what you're trying to do if you're fighting that thing. So in a sustained fight, that's where the Perseus is going to fall apart.
Again, and then you look at the Galaxy, and the Galaxy gets its role from the modules, and the modules being set easy squares to pull out.
Yeah.
Put a new module in, you change your ship.
And again, it's like building 3 ships, but you're only really building 3 rooms in one ship, aren't you? You know what I mean? Like, well, it was like 1 ship and 2 extra rooms, I guess, as you could call it.
Well, yeah. Cargo grid, easy to implement.
Yeah.
Because we've already got dozens of cargo. So you get the room you put in. Refinery, bit harder to do, but once you got your refineries, the other one, cargo. Medical,
cargo's the one I missed. Yeah, cargo's the one I missed. Yeah.
You know, the other one there. So most of them are things you've already got, like we've already got med beds, so just importing that. But
essentially, it allows them to knock off a few things and then spread them out to other ships. Essentially,
100%.
The thing I was going to mention about the Perseus is the thing that you mentioned, is it clearly states the Perseus is a more defensive ship. And it's kind of a bit opposite of the Polaris, so it gives a tit for tat with the Polaris, because again, having ballistics. Yes, technically the Polaris has got ballistics in the torpedoes, but it goes out and it's a strike craft, which is what most of the torpedo ships are. But the Perseus is more like a shield. It doesn't go far from home, right? And then you get other ships that are kind of somewhere in the middle between the two. So it's going to be interesting to see it have a few different ships on the board by the time the Perseus drops, because it's going to change it up a bit. Because what are we going to have? We're going to have the Idris and the Polaris for quite a long time on their own. You know,
it'll be interesting to see as well, like how the Perseus also changes in role once people actually, like, people have always seen, it's a push forward force multiplier, whereas I've always thought it's more a defensive ship, and it'll be interesting to see where it actually falls in that scheme of things as well. So
I'd probably say that the Perseus is the tank in that lineup, because like the only other 2 ships in the that you've essentially got the Hammerhead and the Nautilus here. The Nautilus is the outlier because it's kind of the defensive spider sitting in its web of mines and sensory turrets, so it's a bit of an outlier. The Hammerhead is, kind of punches down where the Perseus kind of punches up. But one's a tank, and I'd have to say that the Hammerhead's probably the more offensive one. But again, until we've got them in a game and going head to head and stuff like that, and when things are reworked, like armor comes in and the components come in and all that, we're going to start to quickly see advantages and disadvantages. Like we haven't even got into things like ship makeup. Like right now we sit and we mock the shit out of the hammerhead because it's essentially walking corridors. But what if that's actually a boon? What if it's really easy to get to where you need to get to in a hammerhead, but all of a sudden the Perseus is like all these ladders and shit, and it, you got to up and around, and it's notoriously hard to navigate. Now, and I'm not saying that's the case. I'm trying to give you an example, right? But you could start to see very quickly just having one level as opposed to multiple levels can give an ease of access. So they're things that I actually even think at some point in time, certain ships will have to have their things reworked just because they're too hard to access. And we've seen that in other games before. Like there was a game I was playing recently where they had a whole bunch of ladders and they replaced them with ramps and stairs because it was just slowing people down too much, and they were dying on the ladders all the time. So they changed them to stairs because then they could keep moving and not get shot. Again, I'm sure CIG have probably tested, like, fingers damn crossed. But, you look at things like the Redeemer and you start to go, you remember when we looked back at the video recently for the episode we did, it literally had that kind of really steep stairs ramp. And I remembered that, and I went, oh yeah, that's right. Like, wow, like I didn't have to climb
really
up
long
this
tunnel to get to the turret.
Yeah, but I didn't have to climb up this really janky turret ladder. And if you go in there with multiple people, you've all got to like single file in to get even up there. And back then it was like kind of straight in. So, you know, it is what it is, I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
Yep. No, and I'm going to jump. Essays. We own you. You'll be done when we say so. Response to my. I can't go yet.
Yeah.
But thank you, Essay. Thank you for thank you for the love.
Right.
The other thing
go ahead.
I was going to say something on the ship sizes, but I think I've lost it. So don't worry now. I thought I had it again, but
it'll come back to you.
I started trying to think I lost it. Yeah.
ExoWolf07 says, if you could pick one ship to get its gold standard, which one would you pick and why? The Endeavour, because it's not done and it's probably the last ship to get done. There we go. How about that? Algared, what would you say?
No, I was thinking the same. Like, I want every ship to get its gold pass. So, give me the Endeavour, because that's the last ship the last ship that we've been said that will be built. And so when it gets its gold pass, hopefully that means everything else has got its gold pass. Or it sets a new bar for the gold pass that everything else has to be pulled up to. So
yeah, that's it. All right. Shempasser says, did you all have a chance to play the server meshing test preview, and if so, thoughts, and are we close? No, because all the tests have been like 1 a.m. to 3 a.m. for us.
Yeah. No, because I'm traveling and I don't have my game, and B, I was either in hospital or...
Yeah, and we've been really busy getting ready for CitizenCon, so that would be the other part of it. But from things we've heard, it's on track.
Yeah. The last time I was able to play, I think, was a Monday night. And then, or maybe Tuesday night. Monday or Tuesday night, but after that, I didn't have a chance to get in and do anything that I was either.
Yep. Okay, this is a really great question, actually. Plucker says, stupid question, and it's not, because it's like he's realised something we've been saying for years. Stupid question. Why in the world is the Scorpius more expensive than an Andromeda? Yeah, that's a really great question. Why is that, Algared?
Because it's worth money. Because it's a rip-off. Because it's trying to get people to buy the game. Because of feature creep. It shouldn't be. Sell your fighters, get the bigger ship, earn down.
Yeah.
You'll find in game, it's actually cheaper than Andromeda.
Same thing with the. It's like the Ares as well, is another one we talk about. It's $250 for the Ares and $260 for the Mercury, and the Mercury is like 4 times the size. Why the hell would you ever do that?
And then you look at the price in game, and those ships are significantly cheaper. So hence,
and also the Star Wars vibes is a part of it. Two in first time chatter in Twitch says because it has Star Wars vibes. Yeah, and I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, and Babylon 5 vibes and other stuff. But yeah, the real reason I think is it shouldn't be. Yeah. Get the bigger ship, earn down.
You get
because you'll find in game they're going to be cheaper.
So I've got people writing back to me going, oh, all this stuff is rare, or I like this thing. You buy what you want, but you got to remember we're giving broad, generalized, best across the board financial advice, so to speak, or what to buy, and so we're going to do that. But then when we sit down with you one-on-one, that's Fix My Fleet. That's to show you the difference. That's to show you why we tailor it to each individual person. And we're trying, again, it's a teaching thing. We're trying to teach you broad strokes so you can teach to other people, and then all the little outliers on top of that. But if we just gave you all the outliers and didn't give you the broad strokes, you're not going to learn. So we're going to give you the broad strokes and then trace in between the lines.
But I'm pretty certain you have ships in your fleet that ships you'd normally say don't buy.
I've got a Perseus.
I know I do.
You've got a Perseus, but guess what? Me and Albert got our Perseus for what, around $300, didn't we? So we didn't spend $675.
Yeah, I buy them using more upgrades to bring the price down.
Yeah.
Or you buy a pack because it's got a ship that you really want, and you got all the other stuff, and so you end up with dross.
It's hard to do that with some of the fighters though, because they're already so cheap. So I kind of sit here and think about, say, something like a Glaive, which is a rarer fighter, and I start to think about the cheapest ships I've kind of seen. I think you'd probably at max get $100 off that, maybe a bit more. I'd have to, Lemming, if you're around and you can hear me, what do you reckon the cheapest is you can get a Glaive? Just text it to me, Lemming, if you want, if you don't want to jump in voice. But yeah,
I can remember people suggesting the melting of the scythe to get the free upgrade to the Glaive. And someone asked in chat in one of the lunchtime streams, had asked Ben what he would do, and he said, "Look, if you want it's a heavier ship, but personally, why would anyone want to trade in a scythe for a Glaive? Because the scythes are actual Vandal ships, whereas the others are just reproductions." Now that was Ben just stating a personal opinion based on his preference. And so it's less of a ship, it's worth more. When it first came out, it was given a $0 CCU up to the Glaive if people want it.
Lemming just said Glaive probably 50% off, so that'd make it $175. But again, the point stands, you just 50%, where you take something like a Carrot got down to 17%, and that record is probably about to be broken with the Polaris, by the way. From what we've looked at, we're there's going to be some people there that break that record. It'll probably go, I think I was thinking it would go down to a neighborhood of about 15%. So that'll be the new record for a ship of its cost. Right, we're down to that's 6 questions, and we've got like 3 minutes. So Gego Ugalava, who says, just to reiterate, interiors that have no component pass, will those be useless? No, the ones that have no interiors will be, you will be the engineer as the pilot as well. But if you are in a fighter or it doesn't have an interior, you have to stop, whether it be on a planet or in space, and get out of your ships to fix it. So if it's already not working, well, you'll just get out and fix it. But if you're not working when someone's shooting you, you're probably dead. But if it's in atmosphere, you crash land, and then if you crash land and don't explode, or you manage to stop it and not get destroyed by the person shooting you, you then got to get out of the ship, and then you got to repair it. And how well can you repair it with the tools on you? So again, you're probably going to only have think about the Gladius, how it comes out with the drawers. You'll probably have one gun and one multi-tool and maybe a medical tool, and that's it, right? Your real basic level stuff. And if you can't fix it with what you got, you've either got to call for someone to come out. You see where I'm going with this, right? So generalistically speaking, you're not really doing engineering with those, because there's too many factors for you even to survive, let alone get to the point where you can repair it. And generally you'll fly it back to a carrier if it's only slightly damaged, and someone else will repair it.
To pick up, because you'd asked the question previously about the component, with the component parts, putting components in ships. How does that impact the engineering gameplay if there's no components in the interior? For fighters, they're external, so you're not going to worry. If you're talking about, say, a corridor or a room in a ship, like living quarters, that doesn't have the batteries or doesn't have the shields or whatever, why do I need to worry about those? Because if the ship's hull is breached, you're losing oxygen, you're losing your resources, so you need to go in there and repair them to fix them up. So I can see that type of thing. But will that come in straight away? Don't know.
You're becoming a little bit difficult to hear, Algared. I think you're moving around a bit too much. You're going in and out of. Try and stay still.
I'll try and stay still. Sorry.
Yeah. Sorry. No, I was just hearing it drop in and out, and I think it's a little bit more distorted because it's the webcam mic, not your DJI mic. Dragonfire will require armor mechanics and ammo mechanics. Will require. Yeah, that's out of context. You didn't.
So will armor require?
No,
will the armor mechanics?
No, read it again. Will require armor mechanics and ammo mechanics. It doesn't. Will these be required as what? As a part of all ships?
Yeah.
Only if the ship has armor and only if the ship uses ballistics, or you choose to use those. So, but yeah, they're coming into the game, and the temporary armor part, as in if you can shoot it off, is speculation by me, 100%. But when you work it out, and Algared and I talked about it, it makes sense because what lasers is to shields, bullets would be to armor. So bullets and armor are stronger, but they're temporary. Where lasers are stronger, but they regenerate. So that's the difference. You've got ones that regenerate and they're almost endless, as long as you've got power. And then ones that are limited, but they're a lot stronger and they can penetrate the previous one. So they go straight through the shields. Well, not straight through, but they can penetrate the shields.
Yeah.
So they both have bonuses, but they have a drawback, which ironically makes them balanced.
Yeah. Fergus has a question.
Yep.
Trevor says, how far out do you think some of the features from last year's CitizenCon are controlled surface, control surfaces, proper scanning, etc., etc.?
I think we're about to see updates to some of them, especially like scanning.
No,
I hope we see an update to the flight model as well. So we saw the Gladius, but I'd hope to see a few more ships in that lineup as well.
Yeah.
Right.
Hunter May.
Yeah, Hunter May. What do you think? What do you think will be maybe? What the hell? I'm going to read it exactly. No. I'm going to read it exactly as he wrote it because it's really broken. What do you think will maybe be the choices for the 6 modular rooms for the Javelin? And that's how it was written. That's why it was so hard to read.
So what do you think? What do you think will be the 6 choices for the Javelin rooms? I know that in law there was one Imperator who kitted out their Javelin with luxury suites. So that could be an option. Yeah. Things that have been talked about in the past were additional hangars, were cargo, were extra marines. CIG can add whatever they like.
As you and I have talked about in the past, Algared, generally expanding what's already there. So everything the Javelin has, think, extra medical, extra hangar spaces, extra, places for extra marines, extra cargo storage. You and I went through all this stuff. It's the same with the Carrack.
And there's no reason why those big ships, if they've got modular sections, can't have as such. Could they put a manufacturing module in the Javelin to repair vehicles or stuff? Yeah. Could they add a base building module into? Yeah, but then implying it and putting out there, so you've got to look at the balance of what it is. Is there one ship that's going to rule them all? No. There'll be ships that are good at certain things and other ships that are good at other stuff. So, yeah. And our last question. Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm just
okay.
I'm on Twitch looking. Oh, you turned my camera off, did you? Okay, sorry, I thought you could see me.
No, yeah. I've just got the questions up now because
lagging too much. Yep, fair enough. I'm just looking to rate on who to rate on Twitch while you do the last question.
Okay. Yep. And the last question is from Mega Tiger Ninja, who says, when do you think they will announce different Titan suits and possibly a Titan dropship?
I think that'll probably also be coming at CitizenCon.
I think certainly with just what we were talking the other day, I think Titan suits are keyed for CitizenCon. And does that mean we're going to Titan dropship? I believe we may actually already have a Titan ship. If we take the Retaliator with the troop module, because it actually had a Titan charging station. So,
what has a Titan charging station?
well, remember the Retaliator was supposed to have a charging station for a heavy armor suit. So I would assume.
I don't remember that, but if you're right, you're right. But I don't remember.
Okay, I may be remembering wrong. I might be dreaming. You know, it happens. But
yeah,
I would assume if that's the case, then
I would assume that they're going to be able to ship another ship at the very least around it, though, or at least tell you how it works with other ships that we already have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't think that. So is there a possibility of a Titan dropship? Yep.
Yep.
Could it be a Retaliator already has that capability in its dropship mode? Yep. But I could be remembering on, lack of caffeine and sleep. So do with that what you will. And a name so long snuck a question in. And it is, how do we convince John Brew to make the Misc Brutus to spite Paul?
The Misc Brutus to spite Paul.
Wasn't the Brutus Origin or Drake? Or which was it? Which was that? The Origin and Drake version?
Yeah. He says the Misc Brutus, but the Brutus was originally pitched as a bigger cutlass by that team and Next Rate Star Marine, so it's confusing the shit out of me. So I don't know what the Misc Brutus is. So yeah.
He's saying trying to get John Crew to create the Brutus as a Misc ship rather than a.
Okay, hang on. There was someone's post. Wax Release posted something on Twitch. I've got to open it. It mentions power armor, so I think he's linking something to back you up. Except that I can't get it to paste properly because I copied the wrong thing. There we go. How does that work? Yep, that's working. Or it's a Spectrum post. Let's go have a look. Retaliator dropship module power armor. Is this a made up? I backed the Retaliator all the way back in the concept. Then I upgraded the chassis to bomber, which makes this boat worth it. However, it's been a long time since I read up about the dropship module for Retaliator. I remember that it would have a dedicated energy recharge station for all standard power armor. Then the future work, it talks about Titan armor. Well, there you go, Algared. Man, that's a.
I did remember something.
Yeah.
Well, that
Retaliator modules available. So yeah, maybe it will come around again. Hey, they worked on the Retaliator earlier this year. Holy shit!
It took them a long time to work on the Retaliator this year.
Maybe that's coming, bro. Maybe that's coming. Maybe that's part of a new Retaliator module because there wasn't many modules announced. Maybe we're on something.
Yeah, well, new module announced, and there was, my memory was, Anyway, that was the last question.
All right,
if you've got any more questions, you've missed it.
Yeah, apologies for Algared's a little bit of waffly mic there at the end, but we got through. So I'm going to be raiding, who are we going to raid? I think I'm going to raid King Chaos on Twitch. He has been doing it for a couple of years now. I've only recently kind of discovered him. I ran into him a little bit ago. Tell him I'll be around to say hi. But he's a good fellow. So we're going to raid him on Twitch. So that's just been created now. But thank you to everyone for the bits and bobs and bits and the subscriptions, the primes, all that jazz. I will be leaving on Tuesday. It's currently Saturday for me. So I'm down to 3 days before I go. So the next live stream will be from Citizen John's house, more than likely, or John Citizen's house next week. So he'll probably be joining me from his lounge room. And I'll
be streaming from Yogyakarta.
Yep. Hopefully with a better.
No, it won't be Yogyakarta. It'll be back in Jakarta by that point.
but hopefully with a better internet connection if you can get one sorted. So we'll be sorting out the gear, and so next week will be a real true test of how this is all going to go at CitizenCon. So until that time, we'll raid now on Twitch. So Twitch say goodbye to YouTube, YouTube say goodbye to Twitch, and they're gone. All right, with that then, don't forget to like, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and thank everyone that went the extra mile on Patreon at the end of the video. You guys have been great. The voice in the void has been Algared.
And the horrible face has been Execute. Take care. Happy well.
See you soon.